This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Unlike Duke versus North Carolina, we actually had a rivalry that delivered this weekend. Michigan State. Oh, my God. What an incredible game. We'll get to Lions free agency and whether or not Brad Holmes is capable of saving this Detroit Lions team. Spoiler alert, I'm not sure anybody is. But this Michigan State game that happened yesterday, weird 4:30 time with the time change. It felt like it was 3:30. It felt like the middle of the day, because it was. These two teams end up clashing against each other. We had felt like last week maybe Michigan's title chances were hindered a little bit by L.J. Kaysen being out. Well, look, we go into this game, and Michigan State's hot. They're going in on a 5-game win streak, and this game delivered in every way, shape, and form. The state of this rivalry between these two programs, the hatred they have for each other, the bad blood, the technical fouls, the flagrant fouls, the fighting for every rebound. I love it. I really think it's the best rivalry in all of college basketball. Is it bias coming from us? Yeah, maybe a little bit. I'm fine with that, though. This is the rivalry's never been better than what it's been this year, even with the sweep happening with the Wolverines. You can feel a real hatred for that other team. Tom Izzo, after the game, went as far as to saying, well, I'm not anybody's little brother.
Guess the crowd didn't watch the game because I'm nobody's damn little brother. And neither is my team. I'm really proud of my team, how they played and what they did. Give Michigan a lot of credit. They shot the daylights out of it, especially Axel. They shot 40-some% from the three, and they took 100 free throws. That was the difference in the game. I ain't taking a backseat to nobody. I don't care what they've done and what they've done. They've deserved what they got. 29-2, and deserve every bit of it.
Yeah, unprompted, by the way. That sounds like a man that's being broken by Dusty May and the Wolverines. Look, his team did put up a good fight, but to, start the press conference with an opening statement, I'm not anybody's little brother. You know what that is, Kyle? You have to admit it. It's little brother activity. That's what it is.
I mean, sure, if you want to call it that.
It's what it is. But this game did deliver in every way. It was incredible. You all right over there? Okay. He's throwing it back over to me. Look, between the technical fouls, the flagrant fouls, you had Jeremy Fears doing his Jeremy Fears thing, the donkey kick. Look, I think the funny thing about Jeremy Fears is at this point he should just lean into it. Like, just make it a reputation. I mean, it's already there at this point. If you're Jeremy Fears, go into the tournament like, you know what? I'm determined to donkey kick someone in the nuts because what's going to happen? The Big Ten's not going to suspend me. March Madness, the NCAA is not going to suspend me. Nothing could possibly happen. I would just make it like a fear factor thing if I'm the Spartans who, you leave yesterday's game if you're a Spartan fan like, okay, I think we actually can do a little bit of damage here in March Madness. Maybe we're a little better than we thought they were, being able to hang in there with Michigan at their place this time around. You had the sequence in the middle of the game where Yaxel dunks on Cohen Carr. Then on the very next possession, Cohen Carr dunks on Yaxel Lenderberg. I had such an incredible time watching this game for 2.5 hours. It felt like the atmosphere in the Chrysler Center was better than it's been all season long. That shouldn't go as anybody's surprise. And now we're at a point where obviously the Big Ten tournament starting this week. We got to define what success means for Michigan the rest of the way. But just kind of taking a step back, I'm amazed at what kind of game these two teams put on display, not once, but twice this season.
Yeah, this is 100% the best rivalry in the sport.
Can I be honest with you? When you didn't want to talk earlier, I thought you were ducking. You were like, man, I don't want to talk about this game anymore.
This microphone was just in terrible position, but I had to fix that. Anyways, I was not ducking anything, man. That game rocked, and that was the one thing that I've made my bias clear. I lean green and white. That's something that I've always taken the perspective of on this show. And you could just tell from yesterday's game, like, man, I wish I wasn't a fan of either of these teams. I wish I was just watching this game because that game rocked. Mm-hmm. Like, it was truly an awesome game. And honestly, like, I left the game with a similar opinion that you just had. Like, I wasn't that upset as a Michigan State person. Like, I thought they played pretty good. I think Michigan's team is just better. Mm-hmm. I think it's that simple. I thought MSU played pretty good. But I do think that, yeah, from the rivalry perspective, Michigan fans certainly probably don't love what Tom Izzo has to say after the game. Doesn't really love to give credit to Michigan off the rip. Kind of has to give his backhanded compliments first. They shot 100 free throws. I'm not anybody's little brother. This and that. I think it's so good for the rivalry. I think it is spectacular that Izzo hates Dusty May, dude.
With a passion.
He hates that guy. And I don't think it's the same way in reverse. I don't think Dusty May hates Tom Izzo.
No, but I do think they're embracing the big brother thing for the first time in basketball.
I think Dusty May likes to embarrass people, and specifically Tom Izzo and the Spartans. Like, I think he finds pleasure in that.
Yeah, I think in his head he's like, I'm going to embarrass this old man. Like, this old man is done. I'm about to show him the new way of thinking in college basketball. That's what it feels like his attack is
right.
on Dusty.
And that's why I think
Izzo.
That's why I think Tom Izzo hates Dusty May. It's untraditional. Every other coach that Izzo continuously respects around the conference, like a Matt Painter, who's like his favorite guy in the league, does things the same way he does. It's people that value the same stuff as Tom Izzo and do things his way that he respects. And of course, that's the old man stubborn mentality. But that's how he operates. And so that's why I love this rivalry so much, because it feels like a true, real hatred from both sides. You have 3 technical fouls within the first, 8 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. And I thought the broadcast did a really good job. And both coaches, when Tracy Wolfson gets an interview with them after the first timeout, by the way, pretty cool that happens during the game. Literally, both coaches are like, yeah, we just want to play. Like, this game, it felt like the game hadn't started because there was so many things that were, stopping the game from continuing.
Well, it's funny, too, because our big worry going into the season, or at least for the Michigan fans, was are they going to understand what this rivalry means? Because Yaxel and Ade and Morez Johnson were all brand new. the only guy that actually grown up in the state was Trey McKinney, and then Cadeau was transferring over. Like, there wasn't a lot of players that had gotten a taste of what this rivalry is supposed to be, so there was a little bit of concern there. Yaxel embraces it, walking into the Chrysler Center wearing a shirt with Dusty May on it, saying he stands on business, and it's the photo of him in front of the Michigan State zone section. Like, they totally embodied what this rivalry is supposed to mean and took it to a whole new level. I completely loved it. I thought the fear stuff was just hysterical. Every group chat in America, or at least in Michigan, I know had the exact same things going at it, just people attacking each other, calling Jeremy Fears a scumbag. I'm just laughing hysterically. I'm like, I can't believe this is still happening. How is he still doing this? How is he not
against Michigan of all teams
enough? And like, I think I just came to the realization yesterday, Kyle, nothing's going to happen. You can just keep doing this, and nothing's going to happen. I would just keep doing it. And then, all the Michigan State fans are claiming Ade Mara's a dirty player. You've done your fair share of that. You got Trey McKinney, who's knocking the ball out of people's hands as it being inbounded. He gets the technical foul for that either. Yeah, at one point I did just want them to start playing, but it felt like every bucket that was to be had, every rebound that was to be had was to be fought for, and that was just kind of the way that game was going to play out. So from a Michigan standpoint, 29 wins, that's a program record. 19 Big Ten wins, that is a conference record. I'll say this. They finally have their celebration last night or yesterday evening about winning the conference. Now they're here as the 1 seed going into the tournament for the Big Ten tournament. There'll be a 1 seed in March Madness as well. I think in order for the season to be deemed a success, they've got to hang either a March Madness Final Four banner or a Big Ten championship tournament championship banner. One of those two things has to go up into the rafters. And I know a lot of Michigan fans are saying it's championship or bust, national championship or bust. You can't tell me that if you win the Big Ten regular season, you win the Big Ten tournament, and you go to a Final Four, that's a failure of a season. You just can't convince me otherwise.
Sure. I think the Big Ten tournament is pointless for them. I love the Big Ten tournament. I think it's super fun. I think they care less about they could care less about it. Everything is about the NCAA tournament. But they're a 1 seed no matter what. They could lose in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament, and they're a 1 seed. I know that they are super uber competitive guys, and they want to win the Big Ten tournament. 100% agree with that. But I don't think that saying they have to hang a banner and that's one of them, and it's there you go. There's your successful season, Big Ten tournament champions. Been there, did that. Did that last year. Where did it get him in the tournament? Everyone knows the NCAA tournament is what truly matters.
I'm not denying that, but I think to just say the Big Ten tournament doesn't matter at all is a little crazy.
No, for them it doesn't matter. For
I still think that's crazy to say that. I think it's that if they can hang banners, Big Ten regular season and Big Ten tournament after winning the conference tournament last year as well, it's suddenly dynasty is definitely too far of a stretch, but you run that conference in every way.
Sure,
the same way that for 2 years before you won a national championship in football, you kept winning the Big Ten. That matters.
It does matter because the league is deep and it's one of two best leagues in the country. I agree. But I also think that let's say they win the Big Ten tournament and they've obviously dominated throughout the regular season, and then they just lose in the Sweet 16. What are we going to be talking about with this Michigan team? What are the conversations going to be had? It certainly is not going to be historic season. It's not going to be, wow, look at the banner that they hung for the Big Ten tournament. Disappointment is going to be all we're talking about, So for this team specifically and the way that they're built and the money value that goes into this group, playing on Monday night is the only goal. That is the only goal of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Final Four, I don't even, you lose in the Final Four, and I'm dang, man. This team didn't even make the national championship the way we were talking about them. I'm not saying that it'll be a disappointment, but
no, I think losing in the national championship, losing in the Final Four is basically adjacent of each other.
Sure,
it's not all that big of a difference. Nobody says Tom Izzo's been to this many, championship games. They talk about how many Final Fours he's been to.
Because he always loses in the Final Four.
That's what I'm saying.
Good point.
So if we're gonna now look at the flip side of things, we heard the Michigan State Tom Izzo soundbite. Dusty May had this to say after the game about his star player, Yaxel Lendenberg.
Unbelievable performance by Axel today.
I think it's pretty obvious why he's player of the year. He does everything on the basketball court, and he's incredibly unselfish while doing it. and he's just scratching the surface of how good he can be.
Yeah, I have to agree here. Shocker. But I do think Yaxel Lenneberg should win Big Ten Player of the Year. The 14 points per game doesn't necessarily jump off the screen for what a Big Ten Player of the Year should be, I will admit. But you know what does jump off the screen? His ability to take over big games, his basketball IQ, his defense. All that stuff does pop off the screen. And the biggest games that this kid has played all year were his best games as well. 26 and 27 versus Michigan State. Had the 7 assists versus Purdue. 3 times this season he had the 7 assists. 12 different times he had double-digit rebounds. In 17 of their 30 games, he had a block and a steal. You could feel it, just the selflessness, the kicking it to his teammates, this running down the floor to get transition points, the hustle, just the fierce mentality of like the get up in your face, get up in your grill type of defense that he played on guys from half court as well. And just like, it felt like every big-time three-pointer that this guy took in these massive games, he was making them every step of the way. So, yeah, the 14 points per game, it doesn't necessarily jump off the screen, but for a team as dominant as Michigan was, there was one player that stood out amongst everybody else, and that was Yaxel Lenneberg. I do think he should win Big Ten Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, it's hard to not give it to the best guy on the best team in a year like this. I do sometimes think that, like, just throwing it to the best guy on the best team is like, if it's not obvious who their best player is, sometimes the best team is built by a bunch of really good players, and Michigan has a bunch of really good players. But they also have an alpha, and it is Yaxel, and it was shown in that game yesterday. I mean, there was a point late in that game where MSU, after Michigan went on their big run, MSU had cut it back down to 3, and it was like, okay, you get to stop here. Like, things could get, like, this is where things could get interesting. And then Yax hits a 3, and it's just like, man, he was so clutch time and time again. His defense, I still think, is just the most underrated thing about him. He can play 1 through 5 defensively. It's unreal. They had to go small for a large majority of this game with the Ademara stuff going on.
He was playing at the 5 and then was playing at the 2 at one point.
Right, and like he was playing the 5 and then he would get switched on to Fears, and it's like this isn't a mismatch. Like this isn't. It's same when Merez gets switched on to Fears. It's like you think this would be something that a team could take advantage of, but for Yax, it's just the guy is an incredible two-way player. Absolutely is the Big Ten Player of the Year. I think there was a chance yesterday where, like, if MSU goes into Ann Arbor and Fears has a type of game that he did, he had a really good game, that there's a conversation to be had. But, yeah, I think it's kind of been locked up for a couple weeks now, and yesterday was just kind of the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because, you know, you and I were texting on Saturday after UConn lost. It's like, hey, if Michigan State actually pulls this thing out, is there an opportunity for them to be a 1 seed? And that felt like it was somewhat on the table.
Yeah.
And Michigan
until
State,
the point spread comes out and it's 10.5, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and Michigan State hung in there right until the end. So right now, I'd say they're probably a 2 or 3 seed in the March Madness tournament. I think this is an overachieving roster. You know, you had some guys, Cooper and Kohler, both down the stretch of this game, I thought played unbelievably. It's just the wings. They just don't have the wings or the shooting to hang in there with, you know, the teams like Michigan, because once Michigan starts hitting a couple threes in a row, there's just not a whole lot you can do. And I will say this, maybe we thought these teams, you know, played a little closer of a game than we anticipated with that 10-point spread. I think when Ademara's on the floor, they're not really that close of teams. Getting him into foul trouble yet again is like maybe the only way teams can beat Michigan. Michigan State did that, and it made that game feel a little bit closer than it necessarily was. I still think when Ademara's out there and can play in a big-time role, there's just not really any teams in the country that can truly hang in there with Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious to say about. I mean, the defensive player of the year in the conference is not playing. Like, it's going to hurt that team's chances. I mean, it gave State the opportunity for Cooper and Kohler to have the games that they did, and Carson Cooper, of course, deserves love. Like, just what that guy has done, his ability to become like an actual good player.
Yeah,
where he was
3 years, he was a baby deer, a blind baby deer.
And even last year, you saw the steps of like, oh, okay, like he can catch lobs now. Like he can, like they were giving him post touches yesterday, and I was like, go to work, Coop.
Yeah.
I used to freak out when they would give him post touches because of how just like a wasted possession it was.
He couldn't even catch the ball for a while.
And that was, like you said, a reason with Ademara being out of the game. It gave those guys opportunities to go to work, and that hinders MSU's shooting ability when the defensive player of the year in the conference is out of the game. You can attack the paint much easier. And so that's something that I would be a little bit concerned about if I'm a Michigan fan, because it just kind of has happened a few times more than not with the Daymera getting into foul trouble.
Yeah.
It's a much different lineup, especially with their depth just being not as great as it was early in the season. But
yeah, especially with no Case in the rest of the way, too.
But once again, it's similar to the Iowa game, where the Iowa game, you turn the ball over, you lose the turnover margin by 13, you still somehow win the game. This game against MSU, you have Fears have a really good game. You have both bigs have a really good game. Daymera's in foul trouble the whole time, and yet you still pretty comfortably won by the end of the game. Like, Michigan just finds a way.
Every big shot he possibly could. 5 for 6 from behind the arc. That's just, it's unreal stuff from him. Because he does it in the corner, he does it off the dribble, he does it off the catch, he does it in every, like, he's just a fill-in type of player. That guy's going to join an NBA team and just be one of the most versatile role players there is in the league upon arrival. It's funny, too, because he could have went to the draft last year and been a first-round pick, it feels like. And he decides to come back. You know, he can make a little bit of money, and I don't think he's going to regret this because it seems like he's going to win Big Ten Player of the Year. His team's already won the regular season, got a chance to win a national championship. He's obviously the number one person on this team that is the reason that they are where they are. But if we're going to put him aside, there's 3 players on the Michigan team that I think levitated above everybody else in terms of what they achieved this year. And that would be McKinney, who just as a freshman comes in guns a-blazing, not unafraid of any moment and shoots the lights out. You've got a Daymera who leads the Big Ten in blocks. And, like, I know everyone realizes he's a 7-footer, but the difference between being a 7-footer and 7'4", like, I know everyone knows what the difference is. It's 4 inches there. But do you understand?
And that's a lot.
Do you understand how big of a difference that is for a center on the basketball court? A 4-inch height advantage over, you know, what is typically the tallest guy on the court, at best 7 foot. For him to be 7'4", with the wingspan that he does, with the touch around the rim that he has, with the footwork that he has, with the ability to knock down the occasional free throw, he's not great from there. The passing, it feels like once a game he has a highlight pass as well. Him, Trey McKinney, or Merez Johnson, who I don't think any Michigan fan in a trillion years would have thought this grown man child would have turned into what he did. Because yesterday he's unafraid to shoot the 3. He's been knocking those down at a high efficiency, not necessarily a high volume all season, but just a beast, a bully on the boards, a 1 through 5 defensive player as well. And then when he catches the ball in the paint and has his dribble, as long as he doesn't travel, it feels like the Michigan's going to score 2 points. So of those 3 guys, how would you rank them in terms of importance? Maybe importance isn't the right word, but impact on the team this season.
Based off of, like, just in general impact, or based off of what I thought was going to happen? Because
general impact.
General impact, I mean, Daymera has to be one. Just because, like, I mean, we've just continued to harp on, like, how different they are with him on versus off the floor. His full court pass ability. They had another one of those yesterday where it got picked up a Fears foul.
It's so awesome when that happens.
Yeah, and he's going to be the defensive player of the year. And like you said, I mean, he is so huge. And the fact that they have those other guys, those other bigs next to him, obviously just makes it even tougher as a whole for Michigan. But
yeah, Yaxel looks small compared to those other 2 guys, and he's 6'9".
Carson Cooper looks small next to him, man. The guy's 6'11". Like they all look small. And the one guy that doesn't look small is Merez Johnson. And he, I think, is the answer, if I were to say, based off of my preseason outlook of these teams. I knew that getting Merez Johnson was it was the underrated get, right?
Yeah. Big guy, rebounds.
Yaxel Lendenberg was the big name. He was the big money guy, best guy in the portal, back-to-back American Player of the Year. Like, clearly was the number one guy in the portal. And then Daymera was the name that everybody knew just because he was a top high school guy, UCLA, and was insanely tall. But getting Merez Johnson, he was the sneaky underrated guy, but he's been so much better than I ever could have expected. I mean, if that guy, what he does defensively, and even if he catches the ball, like in the short corner, he just is able to bully literally anyone you throw at him.
Well, yeah, he does.
This isn't even MSU. Like, it's just if he's trapped underneath the hoop,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. He's got the strength to get himself in a spot where he can work it. He can pump a couple times and get an easy shot off. Like,
well, he does like the Michael Jordan post up. Like, he just like palms the ball. He's like, "Come get it," and then he just one dribble, 2 dribbles, and then he'll just do a drop step or something, and there's nothing you can really do about it.
Right.
His footwork's awesome.
And the one thing that I really give him props for is his maturity is pretty unreal for his age. He's only a sophomore. That's the weirdest part about Merez Johnson. You just kind of think he's...
Oh, I thought you were saying Mara.
No, I'm talking about Johnson this whole time.
I was just... okay.
Johnson's maturity is unreal. For a sophomore, and also for the other guys that are on this team. That's one of the things I've been not so positive on about this Michigan group.
What,
they're led by a 24-year-old man-child.
23.
I know, I'm making a joke. Merez Johnson is already a leaguer. Get this guy in the NBA right now.
Get all 3 of the front court guys in the NBA right now.
Well,
They're all going to be playing on a rotation next year.
But Merez is he's so underrated, and what he knocks down that 3-ball early yesterday. It's man, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do against this guy? He's bigger than everyone. He's stronger than everyone. He defends guards well, so you can't just get a switch on him and all of a sudden, oh, here we go. This is a big deal.
He could be getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean that guy is. He's a freak, man. He to me has been the most surprising impact this season, and then the third guy, of course, being McKinney. It's nothing against him. His little short corner, Sadiq Bey-esque post-up game is so good. His turnaround fade from the short corner is money every time. He's been awesome too. But those other guys are just they're all league guys.
Yeah, I would have thought the swing player would have been McKinney at the beginning of the season, to be honest. Coming in as a 5-star, just a lights-out shooter. And he lived up to the expectation and more. The crazy thing is there was just 3 other guys on the team that were so unbelievably good this year that it led to a 29-win team for the most wins in program history. 989-837-6125, your reaction to Michigan winning the Big Ten. Not only winning the Big Ten, but sweeping Michigan State for the first time since 2014. And then just like that, what defines success the rest of the season? Is it national championship or bust? I say if they hang a Big Ten tournament banner, which I don't overlook those, unlike some people, Kyle. If they hang a Big Ten tournament banner and a Final Four banner, I think that's a hell of a season, something that we can deem very special. But some people might think it's championship or nothing. We'll see what you guys have to say. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. The 9 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts. Or the 9 o'clock hour, is brought to you by our friends over at Iron Stack Technology. You know, we talk a lot about the game plan on this show. Michigan's game plans usually just get off the bus, and it works out for them. They help businesses stay secure, stay efficient, and ready for what's next so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can check them out at ironstacktechnology.com. And as I was saying, the show brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Locally owned and trusted, dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair and keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100. By Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. Your guys' reaction to Michigan winning the Big Ten. Not just the Big Ten, but beating Michigan State. Sweeping them for the first time since 2014 is maybe the more ideal thing. And in that game, Yaxel Lindenberg, 26 and 27 points in the 2 games against Michigan State. You could say it was his 2 best games of the season. Well, it wasn't good enough for this texter, Bobby, who says, Boozer's more deserving. He's 18 and Yaxel will be 24 before the time the NBA season starts. Well, I was talking about Big Ten Player of the Year.
Yeah, we were doing a
National
National Player of the Year thing. I mean,
Boozer will win that. I also just don't understand why everyone is so, like, attacking this guy's age. He's 23.
Lindenberg.
It's a little older than you would like a senior to be, or super senior. But
6th season.
It's not like he's, yeah, he's old. But it's not like he's like an egregious 24, 25 years old. He's still 23.
I mean, it's not that far off, right?
I know, but like still, you know what I'm saying? Like the amount of times I see people talking about him like he is 25 years old, it's just inaccurate. I see that conversation all the time. We have text rolling in that says he's 25 years old.
It's just a meme, though. You know, like it's just a way to make fun of. It's another reason why the Izzo May beef is a thing, is because the way that Dusty May built this roster, it's all brand new guys that got paid a bunch of money to come play for him. And Tom Izzo hates that, you know, so it's just another reason why Michigan State fans can go at Michigan.
So we got a text that everybody talking about Yaxel's age, like there isn't older players on all of these teams. Yeah, like there's probably someone 23 or 24 years old on the majority of teams across the country.
Yeah, of
it
course.
feels like.
There is. I mean, I see a chat about Chad Baker-Mazara, who's like literally 26 or 7, playing for USC. Like, that's pretty unreal.
Yeah, just a lot of people just saying a little bit too old, 6th year of college gives you an advantage over 18 and 19-year-olds. No one's disagreeing with that, though. Like, of course it does. Why wouldn't it? But the rules allow him to come back, be mad at the system more than be mad at the player, because he's 100% deserving of Big Ten Player of the Year.
I agree with that. I think it's just a thing of, like, Michigan fans shouldn't be allowed to complain about other old guys when they have an old guy as their best guy on their team. You know, like, I think that's what it is. Because, like, remember last year when it was Auburn versus Michigan, and Auburn's entire squad was older than the Chicago Bulls or whatever the stat was.
Because they had, like, 25-year-olds on their team.
I mean, Chad Baker-Mazara was one of them.
Right.
Like, their team was, Janai Broom was 24. Like, they were a full squad of old dudes. Their entire team was 6th-year seniors. And it was just like, it was obviously, like, terrible. Like, no one loves that. Not anyone likes that at all. And now Michigan, of course, their second and third best guys who we just been talking about for the last 10 minutes are true sophomores, you know? So, like, and Trey McKenney's a super big impact player. They're not this super old team that everyone is going to be out on with the current way college basketball works. It's just that Yax is their best guy. And so that's just a reason for people to be upset.
Steven says, this is regarding Izzo's comments about being nobody's little brother, says he's nobody's little brother but has 2 older sisters. Huh, that's ironic. So he's somebody's little brother, I guess.
That's a good point. Man, I just love how he just that's
it's the first thing he
so
had to
petty.
say.
Like, it's unreal how petty he is, especially with this game, because every other game he credits the other team. Like when Nebraska beats MSU, he goes to the presser and just talks up Fred Hoiberg and what Nebraska has done this season. But in Minnesota game, he does the same thing. He talks about, man, they outplayed us. We played terrible. He usually goes at his guys or credits the other team. And with the Michigan game and the May stuff, dude, it is just so not that.
If you're going to, without being prompted, say, well, we're not anybody's little brother and, like, do the whole, like, don't talk down to us thing, it's as if you're talking up to everyone saying that. As if you are, like, it is little brother activity. You have to admit that, right? It's at the very
Izzo
least.
cannot be the little brother in this thing. If we're doing the, I think
It
the whole
is, though. Like,
he's not, bro.
Maybe he's not the little brother, but it was I thought immature, maybe not immature, but like soft for him to say that.
It's petty. It's petty.
It's petty for sure.
It is, but like the whole like little brother thing, Tom Izzo versus Michigan, that is for sure not the case. I mean, Tom Izzo has won plenty more times than not versus Michigan in his career.
Sure, but it feels like Dusty May showed up and it's just kind of started pushing Tom Izzo around, and Tom Izzo. I mean, I know they got the 2 wins last year.
I was about to say they swept him last year. Like, what are we talking about?
I know, and now Dusty's put himself in a position where it's just like, I'm not letting this old man talk to me like this anymore. And Tom Izzo's like, well, I'm not anybody's little brother. I don't know. It feels a little. There's something off about it. I just don't like it.
I think it's as simple as Tom Izzo just really does not like Dusty May.
Yeah.
He does not mess with that guy at all. And he doesn't like Michigan either. I mean, it's that he's always made that obvious.
Yeah, Kevin agrees with me. He says the fact that he is saying that is what makes his team little brother. Lynn says Izzo is right. It was the threes that won the game for Michigan. Both coaches should be proud of their team. Yeah, I've seen this stance a little bit.
Yeah, Michigan shot crazy good from deep.
I
thought State played good. I thought they played a pretty good game. I don't think MSU fans should leave that game feeling bad about going into March.
I don't think they should be sad about going into March or mad about going into March, because I think Michigan State's even better than we give them credit for sometimes. But I don't want any moral victories in this rivalry, to be quite frank. I don't want to hear we gave a great effort, moral victory, we played good. After we just talked about in the first segment how there's so much hatred and bad blood in this rivalry, I'm not giving out consolation prizes anymore. And you either win or you lose.
I agree, and Izzo said the same thing in that at the end of that presser. There's no moral victory in this game. I don't ever it's Michigan. And I think that's fair, but I also think that MSU played really good against the best team in the country that we're talking about, a potential historic team at their place, and they shot the 3-ball insanely high. I think MSU should at least feel good a day removed. You couldn't last night. This morning you can wake up and be like, you know what, maybe this team actually is a real chance to go on a run in March again. I do think that they can have that stance because Michigan is the best team. It's them and Duke, no doubt about it. So I think the fact that you hung with that team, it's positive. It's a good sign at their place.
I don't think anybody's playing better than them in the Big Ten right now other than Michigan. You look at all the other teams with that triple bye in Nebraska. I know they lost to Nebraska, but I think if Michigan State and Nebraska played again tomorrow, Michigan State would be favored
I think so
by
too.
5 on a neutral site.
Yeah, probably.
5.5.
Wisconsin has been insanely hot, but they don't have the triple bye. But yeah, it should be Michigan State playing next Sunday. It should be.
Illinois would be the team that I would say has the chance to upset somebody. But what side of the bracket is Illinois on?
They're with Michigan.
Okay.
They're the 1-4. That would be the semifinal game if everything worked the way it should.
See, that actually might end up being the game to determine something.
Michigan kind of gets screwed, by the way, because they're just going to have to play either Iowa or Ohio State in that quarterfinal game. And Ohio State has been as hot as anybody. And then Iowa obviously played them right down to the wire the other night. So going to be a tough quarterfinal match, but Michigan just seems to pull all these games out anyways, so I don't know if it'll matter.
Yeah, I think the only team with a real chance of beating Michigan in the tournament is Wisconsin, just because they shoot so many threes. They're due to upset somebody in the tournament, whatever tournament that is. Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't want to see Wisconsin ever if I'm any team.
I agree. I would say Illinois, but they beat them so bad in the regular season that it makes me hesitant to say that. And then maybe Michigan State as well. I think they dominate Purdue if they run into them. Nebraska, thanks for being a fun regular season team, but I think Michigan would dominate them in a rematch on a neutral site as well. Yeah, I feel like there's really only 3 teams that can win the Big Ten. Maybe 4 if Wisconsin just literally can't miss from 3.
They would have to really have 2 crazy upsets. That's the only part that I think makes it unreal, because they'd have to beat Michigan and then also end up beating another team in the final. So that's I don't think it could happen with them. They could get to the semifinal. They could get to Saturday, I think. But yeah, we do get a YouTube chat. It says we're not talking about Jeremy Fears kicking private parts enough.
Okay. I think they should lean into this even more because he's not going to be suspended. There's not going to be any repercussions. You're at the end of the season. Just keep doing this, or fake do it at the beginning of the game. Fake donkey kick someone just to psych the other team out during the March Madness tournament. There's no repercussions of this is what I've learned.
Yes, there is. He got a technical foul for it.
That's it, though. He's done this. How many times has he done this season?
What do you mean there's not a punishment for it?
I'm saying he's not going to get suspended or anything. I don't nothing bad is going to happen other than the other team gets to shoot 2 free throws. I would just keep doing this if I was Jeremy Fears. Freak the other team out.
Why would
Freak
you?
him out.
What's the benefit?
You may as well lean into it at this point. You've done it so many times. Make it your thing. Make it like the signature Jeremy. Hey, if you're playing Michigan State,
his thing, dude.
You got to deal with this guy kicking you in the nuts.
He's already made it his thing. This was over. He was done doing this stuff. Izzo had already put it to bed. We did a conversation after the Minnesota thing. It was done. Jeremy Fears, all this stuff is done. And then it just happened again right at the beginning of the game, and it's why? That's all I think about when I see that happen yesterday. I'm just, why? What is the reason?
No point. How are we still doing this?
What is the reason to do that? I can't understand it.
I wish everyone could have seen our group chat when that was going on, because we had Michigan State fans claiming that, quote, Elliot Cadeau bent over Jeremy Fears and forced him to do that. It's what are we talking about right now? How is this a real conversation that we're having?
And then I just love how immediately after Mara gets his tech 3 possessions later.
For
Trey
shoving.
McKinney gets his tech 3 more later. And it's we've already forgotten about the Fears thing because now there's just techs being handed out left and right.
Yeah. I thought the Mara thing was rightfully so a tech. He gets a little dirty player accusation sometimes too. I thought the McKinney thing was just really, can we just you're an idiot for doing that. Can we just move on, though?
That's a technical foul.
Yeah, that wasn't dirty.
That, of course not, but that just is a technical foul, yeah.
Yeah. It was getting annoying, though. It was after that one, I was can we be done? Are we ready to play basketball?
Literally.
It was great. Let's do one more text. It says, always had a ton of respect for Izzo, but that has gone away after his comments after these games recently. A few hundred free throws and constant denial about Fears. Time for Tommy to move on. Wow. After this season, though, it felt like they were undermanned and still, 25 wins is nothing to scoff at. But I agree. He stood up for – he has and hasn't stood up for Fears. Because at the beginning when he was doing this stuff after the Michigan game, he was ready to discipline him. He was he wasn't shy about him going over the line, but yeah, yesterday it felt like he was defending him. What are you talking about?
In the game, he was so mad at him. When it happened during the game, he was so mad at Fears, and then I think he kind of took time to think about it and also realized man, I hate Michigan so much that he pinned it on them somehow. I love the comment of I'm gonna give Fears his lunch, but I wonder if anyone else is gonna give those other guys theirs. Basically saying, is Dusty May going to say anything to Ade Mara for his technical fouls?
Definitely not.
But why even say that?
There's a difference between giving a guy a little shove and doing a donkey kick to kick someone in the nuts. That's there's no a shove can just kind of happen without thinking about it. You're playing basketball, you're being physical. Is it dirty?
What are you talking about, dude?
Borderline.
When I'm playing basketball, I always it's just a reaction.
The donkey kick?
Yeah, I'm just dribbling. It's just it's a normal basketball move. What are you talking about?
I do think Tom Izzo made the most out of what he had this season. With the roster
that's what I was going to say. Izzo, everyone can be upset with him or whatever. Look at this roster.
It's not great.
And look at last year's roster.
And look at the 2 guys they lost in the middle of the season.
They lost a middle of the first round. Oh, you're saying in the season this year. Yeah,
and at the beginning of the season, that transfer, right?
Yeah, Caleb Glenn is out for the year. Who's supposed to be their best impact transfer, and then Divine Ugachukwu played a much bigger role than I think expected, because you see, I don't even want to say his name, Denim Wojcik out there for MSU, probably the worst guy that's ever put on a Michigan State uniform.
Guy with the cop haircut.
Yes, worse than the walk-ons. The worst guy that's ever put on a State jersey.
No
doubt about it.
Can't be worse than Izzo's kid. Just can't be.
You're right. Worst guy that's actually gotten real minutes, been a part of the rotation. He is terrible, and as soon as he comes in the game is swung.
I couldn't believe how early he checked in yesterday.
He has to. They don't have another guard. He's their only other guard, and so that's what's so frustrating about. I think Izzo has done a really good job of, like you said, 25 wins, 6 losses. That is nothing to be upset about. Of course, it doesn't help, though, that the final game comes against Michigan in a loss.
Hey, Ace Hardware, locally owned and proudly family operated. Downtown Midland, your go-to spot as we gear up for spring. Stop on East Main Street in downtown Midland. That is Ace Hardware, helping you get ready for the season ahead while supporting your community.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100. on 100.9 The Mid.
So before we jump into the Lions and free agency, I do want to go over just real quick. Tarek Skubal, now open to pitching a second game in the World Baseball Classic. The original plan was he was going to throw 50-ish pitches, and then he was going to go back to Lakeland and rehab. And then he had the quote after the game or the next morning that was like, yeah, this is actually a decision that I'm now reconsidering because of, how special this is to be here. I just want to say this. You're welcome, everybody. We threw this out there last week. I got a lot of hate for it. A lot of hate. Posted this on Twitter on Saturday morning, the day that he was going to pitch in the World Baseball Classic. And it's Twitter, I called him a loser. And people did not like that at all. When you go at Tarek Skubal, everyone's coming right at you saying that's ridiculous. You're not allowed to say that. That's not his mentality. He's got to focus on his arm. And I stood by what I said. I said this is loser activity for him to leave the team, not just only pitch one game, but leave the team after one game and go back to Lakeland. Don't be on the team then if you're not going to be a part of it. I'm taking a little bit of credit. You're welcome, everybody. It sounds like Tarek Skubal actually might pitch again for Team United States, or at the very least, be there with the team. So I'm taking a little bit of credit for this.
So you think that Tarek Skubal pitching in the World Baseball Classic still is because of a reel you made?
Series of reels, tweets. They went a little big. They went pretty big.
They did. You're right. I'm sure Tarek Skubal saw them and changed his mind because of it.
I'll take 4% credit for it.
Okay, where does the other credit go? Because
I don't know.
All this tells me...
Maybe I need more.
All that this tells me from this whole Skubal situation that's been going on or whatever is that clearly it's Scott Boras that doesn't want him to pitch in this with the contract year coming up. You don't want anything to get in the way of $400 million or whatever it's going to be. Clearly he's the one that doesn't want him to pitch in this, and Skubal probably wants to. And so that's where this conflict of interest is coming. It's not the hardest decision that Skubal's ever had to make in his life, like he keeps saying it. He clearly just wants to pitch there, and his agent probably doesn't want him to.
Here's the thing. It's really not that complicated. If he wants to pitch, he's going to be allowed to pitch. If he says I'm pitching, he's pitching. It's really not complicated in my eyes. Scott Boras may say I don't want you to. This is ultimately up to him. Scott Boras can't tell him, no, you're not allowed to. I mean, he can, but Tarek Skubal doesn't have to listen to him.
He seems to listen to him more than not.
Maybe that's problem number one.
Of course it is.
It does kind of it feels like we're trending more towards Skubal pitching a second game, though, doesn't it?
I mean, he was supposed to leave the team after he was supposed to leave on Sunday,
right?
And didn't, and he was there, and now he's probably going to be there tonight too for the game. I
mean, if he's still there tonight, I would imagine he's just not leaving. And they've got a game tonight, a game tomorrow.
Yeah. Why would he not have just left yesterday?
Start Thursday, and then they have a game Saturday and Sunday, I believe.
Something like that.
Semis and finals.
I think so, yeah. Why would he not have just left yesterday when he was supposed to? Clearly he's going to stick around.
Yeah,
is he going to pitch again,
online, though? He saw us going at him a little bit.
What if he just sticks around just to be part of the team but doesn't pitch? I think that's probably the most likely scenario.
That's better than him leaving. Right? I don't think that's worthy of a spot on the team if you're going to join the team and then bounce and not even be a part of it. You're not a part of the team, dude. You're half a part of the team. And now he's at least, it seems like, going to stay and rehab there. And I think the Tigers are fine with it too. What are the Tigers going to say? No.
No, I don't think.
Yeah,
this is not a Tigers thing. This is just a Skubal and Boras thing.
Mm-hmm.
It always has been.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, we'll take 5 to 10% of
I'll let you do
accountability
that.
here.
I'll let you take the accountability.
People were coming at me guns a-blazing.
Ooh, here's a good one. Pizza Man YouTube chat. If he blows out his arm, can we blame Ben?
Yes. Yes, you can.
I take 100% credit for that.
You do? Or
no, you would.
Yeah, I guess I would have to, right?
Yes.
I don't really have another option. That's fine. I'll live with that. 989-837-6125. More on Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions when we come back. But before we do that, let's go to some text messages. Says, you realize if he stays pitches, he's not starting opening day. And yes, Boras is the only one who doesn't want him to pitch. I don't think the opening day thing and him pitching again has any correlation at all. The Tigers don't play until March 26th, 27th, and the championship is March 17th for the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
He'd have plenty of time to get ready.
I mean, Paul Skeens is going to have plenty of time to get ready. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but you're right. I think it is just a him and Boris thing. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitts. You guys can explore Great Lakes shipwrecks and dive into adventure this upcoming summer with Dive and Glide. Sign up for open water dive courses at diveandglideinc.com. Learn the skills, get the practice, and get certified. Visit diveandglideinc.com and gear up for your next underwater adventure. That's diveandglideinc.com, Michigan's home for all things scuba. More on Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions when we return. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
The Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
(989-837-6125). So here's the deal, guys. Free agency, the legal tampering period opens up in 2 hours, which means you can start negotiating these deals. For our purposes, free agency opens up in 2 hours. And I've got to admit something to you guys. I have been very adamant that I don't believe the Lions window is closing, but I feel like enough has went poorly this offseason to where I'm starting to reconsider that. between trading away David Montgomery, between losing Taylor Decker, between Kirby Joseph's knee, not getting any real positive updates there. You see him at the game yesterday, by the way, the Michigan State game, throwing T-shirts. Had a little bit of a limp.
Kirby was there?
Yeah, had a little bit of a limp.
I didn't even notice that.
I watched it probably 6 times just studying the way he was walking. It wasn't great. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. His walking normally score. Between that and then the Terrion Arnold situation, that's just like, who knows? The complete wild card how that ends up unfolding. For the first time, I'm starting to wonder if the Lions' window is actually closing and whether or not Brian Holmes is capable of getting the Lions out of this. The catch is, whether it's Brad Holmes, whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether it's Howie Roseman, I'm not really positive there's any GMs that could get the Lions back to where they need to be, and that's winning the Super Bowl contention, because of how much work there is to do. Like, here's how the Lions get back into Super Bowl contention. You tell me how likely it is that all of these things happen. Kirby Joseph's healthy. Terrion Arnold stays out of legal trouble. Brian Branch returns and is playing like Brian Branch, and the same applies to Kirby Joseph. He's not just playing, he's actually playing at an all-pro level. The offensive line is completely fixed. Need 3 new starters, by the way. You find a semi-productive edge rusher across from Aiden Hutchinson. Your linebacker room isn't complete garbage now that Alex Anzalone's on the way out. What are the odds all of those things happen? Okay, those are all the things you need to do this offseason. That doesn't include that you, as of right now, you will, but as of right now, don't have any money. We have no idea what to gauge our spending abilities in free agency with because the Jared Goff deal hasn't been restructured yet. So there's that. And then you also have 2 top 100 draft picks rather than the 4 that you were supposed to have, which also means, so if we go back to the things that need to happen, both of your rookies need to contribute. Like, your first 2 picks need to be contributors to this team, which hasn't really happened in the last 2 drafts. It has in a way that they've played, but not like a splash impact. That hasn't happened in 2 years. Odds of all those things happening, Kyle, whether it's you and I, whether it's Brad Holmes, whether it's Howie Roseman, or whoever as the Lions GM, it just feels like that's super unlikely.
Yeah, and then on top of it, if all those things happen, it's basically just last year's squad that was disappointing. Like, you still need to improve the roster on top of all of that.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I mean, all those things happening, it's just, it's a 0% chance. Like, right? There's no way everything, like, because some of that stuff is uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
The injury stuff with Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch and whatever's going to happen with Terrion Arnold, a.k.a. your secondary entirely. Like,
the whole thing.
Yeah, like, that is all uncontrollable. Now, you can maybe acquire some guys to have backup plans, but of course, none of them are going to be as impactful as those guys are at full strength.
And it just sucks to dump more resources into the secondary after all that you've done the last couple of years.
Especially when there's more, when there's more needs elsewhere. Like, I think that we're going to have conversations, of course, about Brad Holmes this offseason and what he does to get the Lions back. But like you say,
I don't know if this is a Brad Holmes thing anymore.
Is it just the situation is just bleak thing?
I think about this too, like, and I know I mentioned this on Friday in a sneaky way, but I thought about it more over the weekend. Man, if I'm looking at this, like, just not team, because I think the Lions still are fringe-ish playoff team if they can fix the offensive line. They have the blue chip players, but if I'm talking situation in terms of spending money, draft capital, all that stuff, everything considered, I'd rather be the Rams, I'd rather be the Seahawks, I'd rather be the Bears just in the NFC. And the Vikings could join that list real quickly, and it feels like they're probably just going to as soon as they get a new quarterback. There's just like, all of a sudden I look at the Lions where 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they were in the most ideal situation in the entire world. They had the best roster. They were in the NFC Championship. They had all the money to spend, still more draft capital coming. And now it's like the complete opposite. The roster has regressed. The draft capital is lacking. The money's lacking, which, again, it can be freed up, but we don't know how much that's going to end up being. I just don't know if I'm a big fan of this. Like, do the Lions have a top 10 situation in the NFL heading into this free agency offseason part of it? I don't know. And now for the first time, I'm wondering, like, is the window actually closing? And I hate to admit that because I've always been Mr. Anti-window. Like, I just don't believe in that necessarily. But, like, I just don't see the fix. I don't think the Lions have the right puzzle pieces to make this thing a complete picture again. It feels like they don't have enough pieces, let alone the right ones. So it starts to, again, I don't know if this is even a Brad Holmes thing. Brad Holmes saving the Lions, I think, would take a miracle.
The part about it that makes it so, concerning is it's the if. We continue to just say, well, if the Lions improve their offensive line, you look at the schedule next year. You look at what happened last year, and you were still able to go 9-8, and everything went wrong, and you still have Jahmyr Gibbs. You have this. But it's all on the if. It's all on if they fix the O-line. Well, if Kirby Joseph actually can play football again. If Brian Branch. There's too much of it. And at some point, you can't rely on all the ifs. Only some of them are going to happen. I think that they are going to improve the O-line. That's something that I think, I'm going into free agency thinking, you know what? It's going to be better than last year. They are going to put together a better group than they had out there last season. Is it going to be, back to where it was 2-3 years ago? No, but that's going to be extremely difficult to do. Is the linebacker room going to, still be fine without Alex Anzalone? I feel confident that it still will be because Jack Campbell was an all-pro guy last year. Yeah. I still think that will be a good group. But then there's that's two of how many things have you listed? 8?
Too many.
Exactly. So that's the issue. There's too many things that you're throwing an if on. Can this be fixed if this happens? If this guy returns? If they sign that guy? And I don't know if anyone's able to fix that. The schedule is still the one thing that I'll just lean on. This team still does have a ton of really good players, offensively specifically. Defensively, they still have some good guys as well, of course, with a really easy schedule. Mm-hmm. But the division, man, we just had the Packers trade away Rashawn Gary, so at least that's a little bit of a weakness going for them. But the division is going to be so good this year.
Yeah.
And what the Bears have been doing so far in free agency without it before even opening.
With the trades and stuff, too.
Yeah.
Just collecting more draft capital. There is a situation where, Taylor Decker and Alex Anzalone just end up playing for Chicago, and they've just, legitimately recreated something that the Lions have had with the players and the coaching staff, and it just becomes this super frustrating situation all around. The free agents that we had kind of thrown out there last week as splash guys that could drastically shift the way that we think about this team. The unfortunate part is over the weekend, they both re-signed with their respective teams. Khalil Mack back with the Chargers, and Connor McGovern got exactly what we thought he was going to get with an extra year with the Bills to stay. So it's okay,
now what?
Yeah, all of a sudden you're looking at the free agency landscape, which one of these guys, there's nobody on the market right now where it's just oh, now I feel way better about the Lions since they got this guy. I guess Bosa might be like that a little bit, but again, edge rushers, I think the easiest one to Band-Aid. It's the easiest fix of all of those positions, of all of those groups.
And Taylor Decker's gone. We just added an extra spot that needs to get replaced on the offensive line. Are they going to get a better tackle than Taylor Decker was? I understand that, yeah, he was regressed a year ago and, of course, was playing through injury. He still was pretty good if you just compare him to all the other tackles in the NFL. Are they just replacing him with a guy that was better via the draft or free agency? I don't think so. Yeah, not in year one.
Overpaid without a doubt, but now is that worth the price of finding someone new completely?
That's probably going to be worse. Exactly.
I do have and you and I haven't talked about the Taylor Decker thing because it happened after the show on Friday.
Literally 20 minutes after. It's so unfortunate.
It ends up saving the Lions $11.5 million. If he would have just retired, it would have been a lot more. But that officially gets them under the salary cap. But now they still don't have any money to spend because they got to free up the Jared Goff contract as well. I think I texted you this when it happened on Friday. I was just pissed at everybody. I'm pissed at Taylor Decker for being so arrogant to think that he's above Brad Holmes asking him to take a pay cut. Brother, you've been injured all of the last year and a half. You've contemplated retirement for 2 straight months. Sorry that we asked you to take a little bit of a pay cut. And then I get even more frustrated. It's man, we shouldn't have had to ask him to take a pay cut in the first place because he never should have got a contract extension from Brad Holmes. And then obviously Brad Holmes' tactic in approach into asking him to take a pay cut was poor because it didn't work out. So I just got incredibly frustrated at the entire situation all around, even though I kind of wanted Taylor Decker to retire. It just led to this incredibly what the heck? How did this all go about?
Can he still retire or no?
I think so.
I mean, I guess nothing's stopping anyone from retiring.
Why would he now?
Like, what if he just didn't want to play for any other team other than the Lions?
Well, now I feel like he wants to do it in spite. Oh, these guys asked me to take a pay cut because they don't think I'm good anymore? Like, well, okay, watch me go play somewhere else now. Like, okay, man, go ahead. Uproot your family from Detroit. You've lived here for 10 years, and we thank you for your service. But I thought it was a little arrogant on his behalf to just be like, nope, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm not doing this. What about the culture? I thought everyone wanted to come take a pay cut to play in Detroit. That's clearly not the case. It becomes frustrating.
But also, like you said, is it his fault for wanting the money that he was given?
No. But I can't believe he got the contract in the first place. And now I look at, now we officially have a worst contract on the team that Brad Holmes has given out. We thought it was the Kirby one. It could have been the Aleem McNeil one. It's just without a doubt the Taylor Decker extension.
Well, because it's the first time that it's coming back to bite him, that's the issue here. And so now we can look at those other ones that are like, yeah, these are the next ones that are going to bite us. Because they had given out contracts that we were speculating, is this the worst contract? It could be this one because of this and that. But none of them had been proven the worst one yet because it hadn't caused implications. And this one, of course, did.
Yeah, Brad Holmes may as well get on a podium the next time and say out loud, I regret giving Taylor Decker the contract extension that I did 2 years ago, because if you didn't regret it, you wouldn't have gone and asked him to take a pay cut. It was a bad contract. You yourself admitted it when asking him to take a pay cut. And I guess that's not confirmed yet, but based on Taylor Decker's message that he put out on Instagram.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that they asked him for a pay cut and he didn't want to do it, or a restructure. They weren't the Lions were out on a restructure essentially,
or they said they were taking his replacement at 17. But I doubt they would tell him that, right? I doubt they'd be like, oh, we're taking a tackle at 17.
So my whole thing is did they just think Decker was going to retire?
Clearly.
Was this always the plan? Was just oh yeah, he's going to retire. Let's figure out what's going to happen next. And then he didn't, and so they took 3 weeks to realize how are we going to go about doing this? Was it kind of a panic of oh, he's back, now we need to figure out if we can get him to take less money or else we got to cut him? Or were they always going to cut him? I don't really know.
My question is why were you worried about the Decker renegotiation rather than the Jared Goff one when he was due $69 million? Because isn't that just the clear, let's clear this up first?
Sure, but it to me, it's got to be they just clearly didn't envision a world with Decker on the team. So it was like throwing a wrench in the thing. Okay, we have to figure this out ASAP because if he wants to be on the team next year, he can, but not for this price.
Yeah, not for $21 million
right.
With all the incentives included. That was what the cap hit ended up being. Yeah, I think they overcorrected themselves because they were so unprepared for when Frank Ragnow retired that they basically committed to the idea of Taylor Decker retiring mentally, and then they didn't want to back out of it. Which I wanted him to retire. They would have freed up more than the $11.5 million. But now, once he came out of retirement, we had all kind of just accepted, okay, he's coming back. And
okay, we're not drafting a tackle, and he's just going to be here for another year. Hopefully he can stay healthy.
And it felt like Brad Holmes totally screwed it up because now there's a need for a left guard and a left tackle.
Right.
And I think my dream scenario now in the draft is they trade back and still draft Vega Iona. And let's say they do it at 22, 23 now. And then they collect another third or collect a second or something, and then they can take a tackle at that point too.
To start?
I don't know. It's either going to be
that person.
You're not
taking your starting left tackle in the second or third round.
It'd have to be the second rounder, and you'd probably have to address it in free agency as well and get a fill-in. But I think I don't want to go into the draft and everyone knows that we're taking a tackle because it allows someone to jump us and jump in front of us and steal one. I think if Brad Holmes is true in his we take the best player available, it's probably just going to end up being Vega Iona still, right?
Probably.
And if you could trade back and do it, that's the best scenario.
I've seen the play about maybe Penei Sewell moving back to left tackle just to give them more flexibility with whatever tackle they could draft or sign.
I'm out.
I mean, but I think we have to be open to everything with the current situation. This team has two starting offensive linemen on it right now.
I'm with you that you got to be open to everything, but I wouldn't. Okay, you have two starting offensive linemen. Why are you switching it up even more then? Why are you putting players in positions?
Right.
Not that I don't think Penei Sewell could do it, but then you'd have 4 new starters in terms of the position that they're playing. And then if you're moving
I
Ratledge
guess.
back to center, boom, just like that, you don't have a single player returning to their position. Like, no, I would just keep Sewell and Ratledge together on the right side.
Yeah, I think ideally everyone would, but this is not an ideal situation that the Lions currently find themselves in. So, like, we don't know what's going to happen. Ryan is just teeing you up, throwing you an alley-oop here in the YouTube chat. They gave Decker the extension after they drafted Manu. Another reason for why the hell did you draft the guy?
So it basically leads us back to full circle of, like, the situation that the Lions find themselves in. Just the offensive line alone. And let alone the fact that they don't really have any money right now, that they don't really have a massive amount of draft picks, the fact that their secondary, there's just so many question marks with injury and law. Like, is this situation even fixable for Brad Holmes? What's your confidence level that Brad Holmes can get the Lions out of this situation? And I don't even think this is a Brad Holmes question as much as it is the situation that the Lions find themselves in is just not ideal at all. My confidence level would be like a 4 or 5 out of 10 that they can get back to being a Super Bowl contender this offseason or this upcoming year.
Get back to a Super Bowl contender, I think that's different than get out of the situation because, like, I think that they could just kind of do the mid-tier level of offseason, like kind of get the group back together and then just be a playoff team next year because they have enough talented players.
9-win,
the schedule's easier. Yeah, like they can just win 2 more games than they did last year. Being a Super Bowl contender, though, I mean, have they ever been a Super Bowl contender outside of 2024? Like the year they went to the NFC Championship game, that we weren't going into the playoffs like the Lions are a Super Bowl contender.
Well,
right?
Sure, but I think
I think count
we were.
them as one?
I think going into the playoffs, I can't speak for everybody else, but they were so good that second half of the season that I believed in them.
Okay.
To go on a little bit of a run.
I was just going to say, like, think about how many teams we actually think are, like, real. Even we did this last year. It was the most parity we'd ever had in the NFL, and yet we still only had, like, 3 or 4 teams on our hands that we were like, yeah, they're Super Bowl contenders. Like, there's not a lot of Super Bowl contenders is basically what I'm saying.
I mean,
it's
in
very
that 23
difficult.
season, they beat the Chiefs. Like, they beat the defending Super Bowl champs right off rip. I felt like I felt like we were.
I'm talking about now.
Sure.
Like, what I'm saying is, like, the peak Lions, we talk about that group so much, and they had 2 years as a Super Bowl contender, and it's gone just like that. Like, think about how hard it is to get into that group.
To maintain Super Bowl status.
Going into this season, how many teams do we think can win, like, as of right now, pre-free agency?
Rams,
there's like
Seahawks, 4. Patriots.
And then, like, are you just default putting the Bills in there because of Josh Allen? Are you just always going to toss them in?
Chiefs, too, you kind of just have to
do.
The
Chiefs are not. The Chiefs are not this year. I mean, Mahomes is probably not going to play at the beginning of the year. Like,
we'll see. I'm not ready to just write that team
right,
off.
but
Chicago has a chance to take this incredible leap forward. They do. They have all this
We're
draft
not giving
capital.
them a Super Bowl contender right now.
They have the ability to get in there.
Sure, and so do the Lions.
They have less. Here's the situation, though, between the Lions and the Bears. The Bears have money to spend and draft capital. The Lions don't really have either of those things. That's the big problem. Are their rosters very similar? Yeah, I'd say maybe the Lions have a better roster. But the situation that each team finds themselves in, one with an ascending quarterback on a rookie contract, one with a ton of money to spend, one with an extra second-round pick now, versus the Lions who back against the wall financially, and you lack draft picks, I think I'd rather just be in the Bears situation right now, no? Pretty obvious in my mind.
Probably, depending on what they do, of course. But yeah, probably.
It's going to really suck when Taylor Decker and Alex Anzalone end up in Chicago. It's going to suck.
I don't want to hear that.
Odds of one of them ending up there just feel incredibly likely. I just feel like that's just destined to happen, unfortunately. And it feels like the writing on the wall is with Alex Anzalone. It's just over. There's no coming back. He's rumored to go to the Jets. He's rumored to go to the Bears.
Why are all these guys rumored to go to the Bears, man?
Because they have money. You know who's rumored to go to the Lions, though? Nobody. There are no Lions rumors, unfortunately. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We'll do Around the League, get to your text messages when we come back. 10 o'clock hour, we're rocking and rolling. We are live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Don't forget about that. Doug Cellini, Kingsview Partners right here in Midland. They give you financial advice that actually makes a little bit of sense. Former teacher and coach, Doug breaks down all the complicated stuff and makes it understandable for people like you and I. He helps families and professionals build clear game plans for their money so you can move forward with confidence and not confusion. That's Doug Shalini, Kingsview Partners, right here in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So, can the Lions be saved? Are they savable? Is the question I posed to everyone. Matthew says, weird take for the Lions, who are favorites to win the NFC North, which may be the best division in the league. Is that right, though? Can we confirm that the Lions are favorites to win the NFC North? I'd be a little surprised by that if they were.
Are the odds even out? And two, there's no way they are. They're the favorites?
They're the favorites at plus 160.
Who is this guy?
I think his name's Matthew.
Shout out to Matthew, by the way, because I so doubted you.
I did too. Yeah, no, I mean, that is a good point, I guess.
Really?
We'll know, he says, we'll know going into the season how he does. We still have free agency and the draft. Clear way to ensure that this is a Super Bowl level team, but this is where we find out how good of a GM he can be. Wow, bravo, 10 out of 10 text right there.
But I also think that, like, the way that we've talked about this leading up to this week has just been, like, what an offseason this is for Brad Holmes. Like, this is where Brad Holmes can really, like, get Lions fans back in a positive mindset about him, like we used to think about him. And now we're saying, like, or is it just, or it could be even worse and everyone is out on Brad Holmes. Now we're just kind of saying, like, does it even matter? Like, is Brad Holmes even in a position to get the Lions back right? You know, like, that's the conversation we're having today.
I just, this one's from Jackson. I just think we got a real chance if Brad Holmes finally decides to get aggressive for all phases of this offseason. What is that, like, Tyler Linderbaum? Is that what that means? Like, what aggressive move is there
Ian
to
Rappaport
be had?
all but said he's going to get the highest paid center contract in NFL history
Which the Lions
this week.
they can't afford to do that with another position group. They just can't.
What if they did, though?
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Can I also quickly, I'll get right back to this, back to the divisional thing.
Sure.
I will be placing a wager on the Minnesota Vikings plus 700 to win the division today.
No, you're not. You're
today.
not going to do that.
Today I will do that. Pre them adding a quarterback, I have to take advantage of it. I told you yesterday, the second they add Kyler Murray, I think they are in the whatever contender tier we want to call it.
And it sounds like they just are going to add Kyler Murray.
Correct. So as soon as they do, these odds are going to be changed. I hate to do it, but like I'm going to do that. I might even do it. I might do it live right now.
Do it.
Anyways,
we got another text that said, I wouldn't go that far to say that the season can't be saved. I would say Brad Holmes needs to get it in gear, though. We cannot sit idle and watch viable starting offensive linemen, specifically center, talent come off the board in free agency. I just hate to break it to everybody, guys. They're not getting Linderbaum. Rappaport said it was either going to be back with the Ravens or it was going to be with the Raiders. Like, those are the only two teams that really have the spending capabilities to get Linderbaum back, which I guess I don't really understand how the Ravens have all that money now that they have Max Crosby under contract. By the way, bravo to them for getting that done. That was kind of out of nowhere. And also just thank you, Ravens, for not making sure Chicago didn't get Max Crosby.
That was my first thought. I was just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. My second thought, well, I guess, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Sorry, I sprung that on you.
Can't be doing
bit.
that to me, man.
I sprung
too much
it
going
on
on
you.
back here.
I apologize. Here's what we're gonna do: winners and losers at this point of the offseason. We're not even to free agency yet, but we still have winners and losers. I've got 4 losers and 6 winners for this around the league. You want me to start with a winner?
No, start with a loser.
Okay.
Like the Michigan State Spartans.
My first loser is Joe Burrow, who now is in a division with Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, and TJ Watt, who he has to play 6 times a year. And already has one of the worst offensive lines in all of football.
Poor guy.
Now he's got to deal with Crosby, too, who's just like one of the more insane. Like, if he gets to go up against the bad offensive lines, that's when he feasts the most. He's kind of like Hutchinson in that way, which feels like a knock. It's not really supposed to be. The fact that 6 games now this year that Joe Burrow's got to go up against first-team All-Pro type of guys, I guess maybe TJ Watt's not like that quite anymore.
I mean, he's still going to be an elite tier edge rusher.
Over under 1.5 more seasons of Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
Ooh. I'll go over just because, like, it would take him asking out. And if he hasn't asked out yet, why would he?
Because now he's in a division with Max Crosby.
Please tell me you saw the
TJ
Jamar Chase clip. He was streaming, playing Call of Duty or something. And
I saw it.
just ranting about Max Crosby going to the Ravens. Like,
no!
Truly so upset. So many F words.
I'm pissed.
He was so mad.
A winner of the offseason, I have as Kyler Murray. The Cardinals owe this guy $37 million this season, and he just gets to go pick wherever he wants to play.
For free.
For free. I mean, we could label Minnesota as a winner for this, but I think it's Kyler. It's like, cool, I get to leave Arizona. I still get all my money. And now I just get to walk wherever I want to go, whatever the best situation for me is. All right.
And the situation is good for the team because, we get to bring in our starting quarterback for $1 million.
Which is less than a rookie would make.
Right. Like, it's truly – we've had situations like this in the past when Russell Wilson, for instance, signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers for that insanely cheap contract. Like, it allows you to have a ton of flexibility elsewhere. But also, there's never been as good of a quarterback as Kyler Murray in that situation. Like, Russell Wilson still was bad when he did that, So, like, you have to take that with it. Kyler Murray is not bad. You can say he's not good. He's certainly not bad. So, yeah, he's absolutely, right now, the biggest winner.
How about, I've got someone who I think might be able to top this. Malik Willis, who's about to get $30 million based off of 3 starts.
Is he actually getting $30 million? I've just seen that thrown around, and I'm just like, I can't believe it. Why is everyone so in on this Malik Willis thing? I'm so far out.
It's not necessarily believing in Malik Willis. It's that there's not another starter that's just kind of
Then don't
available.
Pay somebody.
Then what's the alternative for a team like the Cardinals? Or Miami. Like, you've got the money to spend.
Hey, Jacoby Brissett, you want to play quarterback for another year? And then we'll draft a guy next year. But it's foolish.
If you have this much money to spend, like the Cardinals don't have anybody under contract, why not give them a $30 million contract that's like 1.5 years, where it's 2 years, but it's only really one.
Partially guaranteed for a second year.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like the Fields deal.
Like, there's not really downside in doing it if you have the money to spend.
I have the downside for it. You spent $30 million on a guy that's just clearly not going to be your long-term quarterback. It's just a dumb thing to do in general.
I think he's going to get it. It's at least 25
But
million.
but shout out to him, though, because he is a winner. You're right.
I'll go back to a loser. The 49ers, who I don't have anything about free agents that they've signed or trades that they've made. Do you know they have to travel over 3,800 miles this year?
Oh, yeah,
which is an NFL record.
Australia and Brazil or Mexico City, yeah.
And then just have all their East Coast trips in general, too, because they play the Jets in Atlanta.
Yeah, they're just in a tough spot geographically.
3,800 miles. That is an NFL record for most miles traveled in a season.
Well, I mean, I get it, though, because when you live next to a electronic force field that kills your players, you have to get as far away as possible for as long as you can.
The NFL found out about the electronic grid thing, and they were like,
we'll get you
in Australia. You can spend 2 whole weeks there. You don't even have to be at home.
Maybe that'll
month.
fix you up.
It's a chance to get healthy. The Australia game's a chance to get healthy for the 49ers.
They also, the Australia Rams game has to be the first week of the year, right?
Yeah, I think it's like the Brazil game.
Oh, is that what they're?
Right?
Oh, okay. Is that? I thought the Brazil game was still happening this year.
Is it? Maybe
I don't
it
know.
is. I don't know.
They should definitely make that week 1 though, so that they don't have to do that in the middle of the season. That'd be pretty ridiculous. Just a trip to Australia.
It'd have to come either before or after a bye. It'd have to come. It'd be like you play on Thursday night football, then you have a bye, and then you play or then you play Thursday coming back, or Monday night the following week.
I mean,
you gotta help them out if you're.
You know how long of a flight that is from LA to Australia?
It's like 13 hours, isn't it?
It's like 16 hours. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they need a little bit of help with the scheduling. It's got to be like off the long week with a bye. You play on Monday the following week coming back as well. They're losers of the offseason without a doubt. A winner, though, I mean, it has to be the Ravens, right? I didn't think, they came out of nowhere and just stole Max Crosby away.
Brad's correcting you. It was 38,000 miles, not 3,800 miles.
38,000. Yeah, the funny thing is that's what I wrote down, and I still said it wrong. Yeah, 38,000 miles.
It's a lot. Anyways,
that's
back
a
to
lot
your
of
other one.
miles. I said the Ravens for landing Max Crosby.
Winner? Yeah, they got to be. I would honestly just give it to Lamar Jackson over the Ravens because the Ravens did give up their next 2 first-round picks for him, like a heavy price to pay. I understand doing it.
Wouldn't it be Jesse Minter then, if anybody?
True. Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. I would just say Lamar because it's clear that the Ravens are not panicking after last year. Like they or maybe this, I guess, is a panic move then because you're trading for Max Crosby.
You just traded away 2 firsts.
I would say that it believes you have trust in Lamar Jackson still. Like, that he can get you to the Super Bowl. You're not last year panicking off of the bad year from him. No, we're going all in because we think he can get us there.
Yeah, I like that. I have the Chargers written down as a winner. They get Khalil Mack back under contract, and they get their starting center, the guy over from Washington, who they were allowed to sign before free agency picked up because he got released for some reason. So I have the Chargers written down. Yeah. They'll inevitably disappoint us because that's just what they do. But it feels like they're positioned in a very positive way going into the season for the, 5th year in a row?
And I don't know what excuses are for the what-if man over there, Justin Herbert. Like, what is the if this year? You know, you can't. Well, what if he had an elite offensive coordinator? He does.
Yeah, he does now.
What if he's had Khalil Mack back on his team? He does.
Yeah.
What if he had a veteran center? He does. I don't know, man. What is the ifs?
We're gonna find out that there's an electromagnetic field under SoFi this year. That's why all the Chargers been playing.
But only when the Chargers play, not when the Rams do.
I have the Bills written down as a loser for overpaying for DJ Moore. A wide receiver 3, a weapon 4.
But they brought back your boy, though.
I think Joe Brady?
No, McGovern.
Yeah, they did bring back McGovern. I just think that trade in a vacuum is like, oh, man, you paid wide receiver 1 money for a wide receiver 2. Or wide receiver 1 pick for a wide receiver 2.
Right.
And that
could have just paid up for A.J. Brown, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. But I think the Eagles are asking for a first and a second for A.J. Brown. Which,
Eagles are the winner, I think, of that whole thing.
Because someone will inevitably do it at
because
some point.
I think A.J. Brown just like, if that trade never goes down, I think a second-round pick gets A.J. Brown. But the fact that DJ Moore went for 1, why would they not ask for a first? Just because of the situation. Like, A.J. Brown, talent-wise, of course, is worth a first. But just with everything that goes on with him, like, I think they could be talked into trading him for a second. But now it's like, no, why would they take anything less than a first?
At this point, though, I'd be super hesitant to, like, call Howie Roseman. Be like, hey, can I have A.J. Brown?
I would always be hesitant to call that guy.
Yeah.
He's going to finesse you. He's got to be an elite just speaker.
Negotiator.
Yeah.
Unlike Scott Harris.
It's like me in Dynasty, you know?
That's some are saying. I have the Rams written down as a winner, too, for landing Trent McDuffie. Gave up a lot for him.
Gave him the bag, too. Highest paid corner contract ever yesterday.
I missed that completely.
I think that actually might have been this morning.
Yeah, they've got to be a winner here as well.
Yeah, the number, by the way, 4-year, $124 million for Trent McDuffie.
Shoo. I had one more loser, Daniel Jones. Because the Colts just, like, found a loophole in the entire system.
They created restricted free agency in the NFL.
Which hadn't existed in 30 years and cost Daniel Jones $5 million. And I don't think anybody else is going to give him an offer. So he just kind of gets screwed as a loser here. Misses out on $5 million.
And he just is still coming off of a terrible injury.
And he has a torn Achilles or ACL.
I believe
Achilles.
I believe Achilles.
Yeah, tough look for him. 989-837-6125. That is around the league. More on Tarek Skubal when we return. And the World Baseball Classic in general, because I think it's been really fun. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Hey, if you're looking for a new car, I can tell you from firsthand experience, Garber Chevrolet in Midland makes it easy. Bought my car there last summer. Whole process was smooth. No stress, just straightforward. If you need your car fixed up, check engine light popped up on mine a couple weeks ago. Guess who was in and out of the shop in 48 hours? This guy right here. 2 thumbs, me. Garber Chevrolet, whether you need a new car, whether you need yours just fixed up a little bit, they're the place to go. A place that you can actually trust to purchase your new ride. And our friends who make Big Win Wednesday possible, this week we're giving away $100 worth of Forward Corporation gas cards. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live on the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
989-837-6125. Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We'll get into some more Michigan State. We got some text about the Pistons, so maybe we'll work that in as well. I didn't plan on it, but yeah, the panic button has been hit. The group chats I'm in are just full-on panic mode for the Detroit Pistons. But you guys heard my stance earlier around the Tarek Skubal thing. It sounds like he's going to potentially pitch another game in the World Baseball Classic. You're welcome. We put out a series of reels. I had the tweets that actually blew up. I had I filled in on Huge Show. We talked about it on Friday as well and earlier in the week. I'll take like 5% responsibility for it. No big deal. You're welcome. But honestly, like the rest of the World Baseball Classic has been really, really fun to watch as well. Skubal actually ended up giving up a leadoff home run first pitch of the game when they went up against Great Britain, who had some of the worst jerseys I've ever seen in professional sports. It looked like a Little League jersey. The United States was trailing the majority of that game. And then, but like I never wavered from like, yeah, they're just going to figure this out. The depth that the United States has, it just feels like eventually it's too much to overcome. They're going to overwhelm you with their depth at some point throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, a majority of the game might be a stretch. They were down for like 4 innings. I mean, like half the game basically. But like you said, I mean, Skubal, he pitched awesome. He gave up that leadoff home run, and then after that, he was tremendous. And so that's, I think, a big reason why he wants to return. I assume Team US wants him to return because imagine throwing out Tarek Skubal, and he doesn't even have to start. Like, imagine throwing him out for an inning or two in a late game scenario to win the World Baseball Classic. Like,
true.
That's how a lot of these guys get utilized. And so, yeah, this has been pretty fun to watch so far. It's been fun to watch some of the other teams as well.
You mean like the Dominican?
Yeah, I mean, their lineup is just insane. I got to ask John how Austin Wells is the starting catcher for the Dominican Republic. That one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But outside of that, their team, I saw the stat that 8 of their 9 guys in their lineup received MVP votes in the last 3 years. All 8 of them.
Yeah, they have like 27 combined All-Star appearances with their roster, too. If there's going to be a team to topple the United States, I actually don't think it's Team Japan. It's hard to bet against Shohei, but like, listen to these bats that the Dominican has. Junior Caminero, Manny Machado,
Ronald Acuna,
Vlad, Julio Rodriguez, Tatis, and then, Juan Soto. And O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, Geraldo Perdomo is just like the 8th best guy on this team. He was like Arizona's best guy last year when Corbin Carroll was injured.
Ketel Marte also on this team. Like, it just goes down and down and down. The pitching staff, it's not up to par with the United States. But I do wonder if
they still have Christopher Sanchez, like, who was one of the best lefties in the league last year. Like, they still have good guys.
And former Tigers All-Star Gregory Soto.
Really?
Got both the Sotos.
Nice.
Yeah, like, if there's going to be a team that can kind of just go toe-to-toe with the United States in terms of putting up the runs, it's probably these guys because they just have so many I mean, between Soto and Rodriguez and Vlad Guerrero alone. Like, those guys
Tatis, like, keep going down the line. These guys are all elite players.
Yeah, and like, I know O'Neal Cruz is like his own entity, but like, that's a guy that, like, one pitch goes poorly and he could just make you pay for it. That's the team I'm the most worried about. Right. They're outscoring their opponents 24-4 so far through two games. They put a mercy rule on the Netherlands yesterday.
Is Ellie De La Cruz on this team?
No.
He just isn't playing, huh? That's kind of interesting.
I guess not.
I mean, I feel like they could have found a spot for him. Maybe he has something else going on they didn't want to play in it, but that's interesting. This squad is, man, they have Jeremy Pena just like on this team too.
Yeah, man. It's nasty.
He's just there.
And they do have like known pitchers, even though like Sandy Alcantara's on this team. And I wonder if like similar to Olympic basketball or FIBA basketball, how there's just like random NBA players that are just so good for their teams. Like Dennis Schroeder's like a stud in the Olympics. Ricky Rubio is always like this. Like, is there a world where Sandy Alcantara can just kind of turn back the clock in this tournament a little bit? I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I think anybody has a chance to. Like that's the fun part about this. It has nothing to do with what you've accomplished in America in Major League Baseball. Like that's what I'm super excited for. I do know that like I'm a little bit worried about the Dominican from the perspective of in 2023 they like super choked. They didn't even they didn't even get out of pool play. They came into the thing with the same thing. It was like they have all of these really good bats. This team should rock. I'm scared about this team. And then they didn't even make it. And so that's the part
they're already off to a better start.
Right, exactly. So that's the part I think another reason to fear this team is that what happened to them in the last World Baseball Classic. Japan is still I mean, see what they're doing as well.
Yeah, they're murdering.
They're doing the same thing. We're going to get a little bit of a taste of the U.S. taking on what's supposed to be a pretty good team in Mexico tonight. That's why I'm super excited for that. But you got Skeens on the mound. Good. There's some good Major League players on that Mexico team, like a few really good players on it, and so that's going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, you know what I was just so caught off guard by the Friday night game when Judge homered. I like stood up and like did a little fist bump. You know, I was just like in my apartment just watching.
Too far.
And then I like had to look myself in the mirror. Like, dude, I need to take a shower. I can't believe I just celebrated an Aaron Judge home run. But that's the best part of World Baseball Classic. I saw a lot of people that were kind of like, nah, nobody cares about the World Baseball Classic. Of course, Skubal's going to sit out. Like, we want him healthy for the season, and the World Baseball Classic's a joke. I think that's such a lame take. Like, why can't this be on par with the Olympics, both basketball and from a hockey standpoint?
If you're a baseball fan, there's like no reason why you shouldn't be watching this.
No, it's
that
incredible.
Simple.
The environments that they're playing in are so fun.
I mean, even like you wake up and watch the Japan game and you watch Korea, and when Chinese Taipei beat Korea to stay alive, those guys were crying after the game because it was like they what a huge upset it was. Like Team Korea is pretty good, and they beat them and they stayed alive to potentially make it. And you wake up and watch those games, and the places are going crazy. Like it's if you are a baseball fan, like, and you're not watching it, I don't. What's the reason? Like
people complain about like all these different sports all-star weekends about how it's just never up to standard. Nobody tries.
Yeah, this is like the ideal all-star weekend, but it's not all-star.
Better.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
This is way better. This is every 4 years you just get an incredible tournament with the best players in the world. I just like the more I saw some of the Dominican scores, and I was like, let me take a look at this roster. I was like, oh my God, are we going to be able to beat these guys? I think the difference is the pitching staff, though, because with the United States having Skeens, having Skubal potentially again as well, I think the pitching staff is probably what separates that and what makes the United States the favorites to win this thing. Japan, I believe, is still the second favored team to win this whole thing outright. But I'm looking at Team Dominican as the lurking one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean that they are very scary. That's what Kevin in the YouTube chat says. He says
Kevin LeDuc. Yeah,
Japan's game have been really fun to watch, but they had problems with both Korea and Australia. The DR squad is the only club that scares me as a U.S. fan. Yeah. I'm pretty scared of the Venezuelan squad too. They've been pretty good. Miguel Cabrera is just like a coach on that team, which is super fun to see him in the dugout as well. They have Acuna. They have Eugenio Suarez, Gleyber Torres on that team. Like they're a fun squad as well.
Well, I think what makes like just the storylines and stuff so fun too is like we're watching the game on Friday, and Brazil's pitcher is 17 years old. It's like, wait, what? And he just like left high school in Georgia to come be on the World Baseball Classic team for a couple of weeks. It's like, huh? What? By the way, it did flip. The Dominican is plus 350 to win the whole thing.
Yeah, just because they've won their first 2 games by 1,000 runs. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Mercy rule. You believe that? They've got a mercy rule in this thing.
They're playing at noon. They're playing in an hour.
Who do they have in their third game?
Team Israel.
Okay. With Jake Geloff.
With Jake Geloff.
With Jake
Correct.
Geloff, former current, maybe, Great Lake Loon. Yeah, Ohtani's the favorite to win the whole thing's MVP. Aaron Judge is second. Bobby Witt is third. And then Junior Caminero for Team Dominican, plus 1,600. Not bad. Not bad. Schwarber at plus 1,700 is enticing.
Schwarber went deep already. He's kind of already been doing good.
If I was going to pick someone to win MVP, Kyle Schwarber at 1,700 already with like an incredible home
What about
run.
Skubal?
He's sitting back at plus 2,200.
Those should be
not
way
22,000.
better. Those should be way better odds. He's not even going to play. Oh, or is he?
Or is he? That's the question. 989-837-6125. 11 o'clock hour on the way. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. Live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook as well. Like and subscribe. We'll be back in 90 seconds.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, Michigan has won the Big Ten regular season. They've beaten their biggest rivals twice now, swept them for the first time since 2014. And I'll go as far as saying this. I think Yaxel Lindeberg is the best player that Michigan has had at least since Trey Burke. And I'm actually willing to entertain the conversation that Yaxel Lindeberg could be a better Michigan overall player than Trey Burke. And I know Trey Burke has the legacy, was here for multiple years. Yaxel's only going to be here for one. But if we're just like, hey, who's a better player straight up, I don't think it's that crazy to make the argument that it's Yaxel Lendenberg. I get it. You got to take
Trey Burke?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We're not doing this.
I get that you got the legacy
Trey
things.
Burke?
Yes. Yaxel Lendenberg does everything, man.
Trey Burke was the player of the year. He was the national player of the year.
I get that. I understand. But Yaxel Lendenberg is a more complete player. And maybe this is recency bias. I'm sure there's a little bit of that playing here. But what if Michigan goes on to win the March Madness tournament and Yaxel Lendenberg wins tournament MVP? Like, then we're totally engaging
Michigan
in a
went to the
conversation.
title game. Like, it's not like Trey Burke was playing on some like bum Michigan team.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is a conversation that could happen 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, whenever, 4 weeks from now, whenever the actual, Final Four weekend is. Why not just have it now? Because I think they're pretty similar in terms of, they're not similar players, but Yaxel's just a more complete player. He brings a lot more to the table than Burke. Burke was unstoppable at what he did, but it's like Yaxel's 14 points per game. I see it all the time. Oh, that's not enough to win Big Ten Player of the Year.
Are
you guys watching this guy?
I agree with you on that.
This guy's unbelievable at every aspect of basketball. And the reason he's only averaging 14 points per game is because they're blowing half their teams out, and he doesn't play the last 6 minutes. They tried to do it yesterday, and Michigan State kept clawing back into it, and they had to sub all their starters back in.
I need to digest this. Your initial question of why can't we just have the conversation now? Because it's a crazy question to have now. Like, I think the only time you have this conversation is if they win the damn thing.
Which we both think they can.
But they need to do it first to have this conversation. Like, I thought the whole topic here was going to be, is he the best player since Trey Burke? I don't even know if that's for sure.
Oh, really?
I mean, like, to me, and I understand, if we're going off of the best season, too, because it has to be based off the best season.
Right.
Because Yak has only been here for a year.
Right.
And I think he's awesome. And so I don't want this to, like, come off as I don't think he's as good as some of these other guys. I literally sat here in the first hour and talked about how incredible I think he is. I think he's the most underrated defender in the country. Like, he's an insanely good defender.
17 games where he had a block and a steal this year.
And he just, like, he does it all on defense. It's just like him and Rez. They guard everybody. Trey Burke, though, was like, I mean, he is a monumental figure of not just Michigan basketball, of college basketball. Like, I think if you took Yaxel off of this team, Michigan is still a damn good basketball team.
Yeah, they're not a natty contender, though. Come on, don't do this. They're not even the best team in the Big Ten without Yax. You're saying if they lost the Big Ten Player of the Year, they would be...
That's how good this team is. This is more of how good the
man.
team is. And I think Yax is extremely good. But, like, you take Trey Burke off of those Michigan teams.
Yeah, obviously.
They're
you can say that about the best player.
They're a below 500 squad?
I'd have to... I mean, they had another Big Ten Player of the Year on their team in Nick Stauskas.
Sure, you're right. Totally. I just think that, like, what Burke did for those teams was, like, those were Trey Burke's teams. I don't look at, and specifically that team, too. Like, if we're just doing the year thing, obviously the shot against Kansas, like all that stuff.
Right.
You look at this Michigan team, to me, and it's not a slight against Yax because this is just how good this team is. I think this team is better than that Michigan team. I don't look at this squad and be like, this is Yaxel Lendenberg's team. I don't think that. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all.
I think you're right in the majority of games, in their biggest games against top 10 opponents, against Michigan State twice, there's not even been a question as to whose team it is, though. Yesterday, perfect example. It was pretty clear who was the alpha in that game, and it was Yaxel Lendenberg.
He for sure has a just something in the bigger moments. Like, he definitely is a clutch player in those big-time spots, which is...
On both ends.
Which is a reason why he is the Big Ten Player of the Year, and it's a reason why you should feel confident that at the end of a huge game in the Final Four, they have a guy to go to. Like, I don't want this to discredit him. I just think this is more of a Trey Burke thing. I mean, Trey Burke is one of the best college basketball players we've ever seen. I think that Yax
you said he might not even be the best player since then. Who would you
I
throw into that conversation?
I think that's a conversation. You know, like
it'd be Hunter Dickinson.
Freshman year Hunter Dickinson
Wagner.
was pretty unreal. He was an All-American as a freshman. Like, I hated Hunter Dickinson. I still do to this day. He was a really good freshman. And yeah, Mo Wagner's probably the other guy.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like Franz was good, but like he was a prospect. He was 2 and done, but He was
you're right.
he was a prospect more so of just like an elite player.
Yeah. Yax is the elite player.
Correct. Yes, exactly. So I think he probably is the best player since Trey Burke to suit up in the maize and blue. But I don't think it tops Trey Burke. If they win the national title and Yax is the player of the Final Four, whatever they even call that, and he has an insane run in the tournament, then maybe I can be convinced. But I currently, no, I cannot.
Ready for me to just win the argument? If Yaxel Lindenberg and
if they switched places.
No, if they played one-on-one. I'm just kidding. I
Trey
hate
Burke
that
wins.
argument because basketball's a 5-on-5 game and not a
right.
Not
but
a
Trey Burke
one-on-one
wins
game.
though.
I really
I
don't want to do this, but I look, maybe it sounds like more of a knock on Trey Burke. I think this is more like I don't even think we appreciate Yax enough because, to your point, like you're still saying, and I agree with you, Michigan would be a pretty good team without Yaxel Lindenberg. I don't think they'd be a national title contender without this guy by any stretch of the imagination. Because what he does from a floor spacing standpoint, what he does from a transition standpoint, the way he finishes transitions, his plug-and-play ability in any lineup to where yesterday he's rolling as the 5, and then a couple minutes later he's the 2, and he's guarding Jeremy Fears. Like, the malleability with him allows you to have a super malleable lineup in any way. You can play small, you can play big, you can play a defensive-oriented one. He's still an offensive player, too. He doesn't have to have the ball to be, to leave his impact. When you throw in a across-the-court pass, guess who's going to be there to pick it off and go the distance to go 6? Like, this guy's impact is everywhere. He takes over the big games, even if it's not in the scoring column, and typically in the biggest games of the season. It has been in the scoring column. I think Michigan fans, when you ask them their 2 biggest games of the season, Duke wouldn't come to mind, Purdue wouldn't come to mind. It's the games against Michigan State. Those are the ones
you don't
that
think
you want
the
to
Duke
win.
one comes to mind?
I think if you ask Michigan fans on a year-to-year basis, what are the 2 games you want to win?
Oh, well, sure.
It's
Of
without a
course.
doubt Michigan State. And we were afraid.
He was good in the Duke game, too, to be frank.
Amazing in the first half.
Yeah, he was.
If you asked before the season, said, what's the concern with Michigan State? Said, Michigan players don't know anything about this rivalry. Yaxel has no idea what he's walking into. He didn't, and he still was just like, you know what? Screw these guys. He has the video of him saying the stuff about Purdue.
Yeah.
He walked in, he was like, if you're not on our team, you're against us, and I'll make everybody a rivalry. And it turned into this, like, behemoth Goliath team that just wanted to destroy everybody in their way.
Yeah, I think if I'm giving credit to Tom Izzo for spicing up the rivalry even more by the way that he has acted against Michigan this season. I know Michigan fans don't like it, but I think it's good for the rivalry. I hope that both sides can at least acknowledge that. I think it's just as good for the rivalry that Yaxel Lindenberg comes in, and it's a ton of respect to him because, like you said, he hadn't hated Michigan State his whole life or for 4 years even, like Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler have.
Right.
He came in and hated those guys just as much as they did the other way, So it's a ton of respect to him for that. Yeah, and I think the one thing, too, with Michigan, by the way, if we want to dive back into the game a little bit, how many times did they let MSU score off of a make?
Oh,
that
the 3
happening.
that Yaxel hit in the corner when he turned around and just like flexed his guy's muscles. And then
Dusty was so mad.
Well, they took the hero cam, and then they went back to the game cam, and
already
they had
had
already
scored.
scored. It was like, wait, what just happened?
In the first half, Kurt Tang hit 2 threes off of it, and then Michigan State had a couple buckets in the second half. How did they continuously let that happening? It was crazy.
Do those count as transition points?
No, they do not.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Which those don't really classify as anything. It'd be fun to see if someone did just put those into their own group. Like State had to score double-digit points off of that yesterday,
Of
which
just
is
inbounding
off
the
of
ball
a make,
and
off
just
of,
going.
off of an inbound, just quickly coming down and scoring. That was the one thing where I was like, even as a State fan, I'm like, I would be so mad if this kept happening to my team.
Which is ironic because that's how Michigan gets 8 to 10 points a game, just Merrick snagging
right
a ball
off
and
a
just
miss,
throwing it down full court.
Yeah.
And it's usually Laxil Yenneberg. This is the one finishing it, by the way. So that possession, back-to-back possessions, by the way, and then we can move on. Those back-to-back possessions where Yaxel Lindenberg had the reverse dunk on Cohen Carr. And then
Dude, he looked like Julius Irving on that dunk. Legit. Reverse windmill, head has to avoid the backboard as I'm dunking this.
I don't always get super animated while I'm watching these because, I don't really have a dog in the race. I just want things to talk about.
Right.
When Yaxel did that, I stood up out of my seat. I couldn't believe what he had just done.
The replay was even crazier. Like, you watch the replay, and I was like, oh, my God.
And then what? 10, 15 seconds later, Cohen Carr cutting to the rim on like a circle screen just comes and just yams it right back on him.
On Yax, yeah. Like a legit poster.
That might have been the best 30 seconds of my entire year so far.
That was specifically when I texted the chat and said, this game rocks. Like, this game is insanely good. The fact that we got the 2 best games of the season this weekend, by the way, pretty awesome.
2 best.
Well, Miami versus Ohio, of course, was the game of the year on
right.
Friday night. I mean,
Right.
absolutely was. And then this one might have topped it. So,
yeah, when we look back at 2026 and think of moment of the year, we can't let that back-to-back possession sequence go forgotten.
yeah.
It was incredible.
Write
2
that down for the
posters right in a row.
2026 middies. Have that ready to go for the award show at the end of the year.
989-837-6125. Michigan
Trey
comes out on
Burke.
top. Man, Trey Burke. Legend. Jersey.
No, I guess not.
Wait,
Not a big legend, huh?
What did they do earlier this year? They didn't retire his jersey. They just hung it in the rafters.
They recognized his number, and they hung it up in the rafters, yeah.
But they didn't, not to be confused with when a jersey goes up and it's
No.
retired.
Not
It's
to be-
completely
I mean,
separate.
none of those Michigan, like, they don't retire numbers. It's weird. They don't retire, like, Cassie Russell's isn't retired. It's weird.
I guess I just don't understand putting someone in the rafters unless it's like a coach if you're not going to retire their number. Like, I think Chuck Daly's
I don't understand.
name is in the
Yeah.
rafters in LCA.
Right.
That makes sense. But, like, when it's a player, shouldn't it just kind of come with the number? Then nobody else can wear this? I feel like that's kind of the point of it. Maybe not. 989-837-6125. Life happens fast, and at Yider Insurance Group, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yider is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That's Yider Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. On Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, we can circle back to the Lions, but we do have some Pistons texts coming in, so let's attack that really quick. And I'm sure Kyle will spend more time on this tomorrow. We got a text that says, feels like it's time for the Pistons to be worried about the Pistons a little bit here after a 4-game losing streak. Yeah, they hadn't lost 2 games in a row all of 2026. They hadn't lost 3 games in a row all of this season, and now they're in a 4-game losing streak, a couple of which were against just bad teams. The Nets included, Miami yesterday. I'm not only like panicking, I am just like horrified of a first-round loss in the playoffs.
Oh, we're going to first-round loss.
What were we just talking about?
No,
in the commercial
I know.
Break off air. You were horrified of the Hornets.
It's just crazy to think that like 2 weeks ago we're talking about can they win the finals.
Yeah, but you and I sniffed out what the red flags on this team were, and now that they're actually losing, it's just more apparent. Now everyone sees the red flags.
Exactly. It's not even that we sniffed them out. They were obvious. Anyone could recognize it. It's just the fact that they were still winning. So it was like, okay, like I guess it's just we're just blind to the fact that this team doesn't make enough threes, and they only have one guy that shoots a high volume of threes, and Cade just has this extensive workload, and no one else can create their own shot on this team. Like, offensively, there's more red flags than green flags.
Yeah, and so, they gave Cade the night off on Saturday night against Brooklyn. And
how did they lose, by the way? Like, and when I'm asking that, I'm legit asking that. Because I stopped watching when they were up by 20-something points, and then they lose. I didn't even go back to watch to see because I didn't want to.
Yeah, I didn't want to either.
How did they lose? Does anyone know?
They were up by 15 with like 3 minutes left, 5 minutes
left.
It was 20. Insane.
Like, and then yesterday's game just pitiful. I mean, just down from the jump to a Miami team that is just the most mid of mid in all of the NBA.
With Cade.
Lost 4 straight now. It's very scary. And I think the only thing that I was still clinging to with all the red flags and all of the alarms that you knew were going to hit at some point was the whole, well, they don't lose 2 games in a row. They don't lose 3 games in a row. So, like, that was, like, the only thing I was clinging on to is, like,
and now that's just
this
gone.
Doesn't even make sense.
You just can't ever say that again.
And it was a dumb thing to cling on to because the second they just did lose 2 in a row, then it's over, you know? But I was like, oh, they don't. So this is good for a playoff series because then if, in a playoff series, you don't lose 2 in a row all year, like, this is probably going to work out for you. And now that they have, obviously, I have nothing to grasp onto that's exciting. So I'm scared. And then you add in the fact that Jason Tatum is just like,
no, we can't talk about that.
It's just real Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Regular version of him is just applied back to the Celtics.
That's a team that actually might sweep the
Pistons. And then the Cavs, the only team they've looked weak against was the Celtics last night. Like,
yeah, it's worrisome for not just the inability to shoot threes, but the Duncan Robinson. I looked up what his playoff career percentage was from downtown. 33%. Not good.
And it's not even that, like, the Pistons know that. Like, that isn't a shock. And he's their only guy. He's the only guy that is the high-volume three-point shooting guy.
Right, and it really makes you wonder.
Why are we relying so much on him?
And it really makes you wonder why on earth they didn't attack the deadline a little bit harder. I know they tried to add a theoretical shooter in Kevin Huerter, but why not add, like, a Dennis Schroeder back to the lineup, an Ayo DeSumo? Like, why not add someone who can shoot a little bit and create their own shot? That even if they're coming off the bench, that would have been such a nice addition to this team because if Duncan Robinson's in foul trouble or because, he hasn't gotten into too much foul trouble the past couple of playoff runs he's been on because he's been coming off the bench because there's a reason for that because he's, a black hole on defense when it comes to the playoffs, when teams hunt him, Pistons have no choice. Like, they can't put him on the bench. He has to play a tremendous amount of minutes for the Pistons because he's their only form of three-point shooting. Tobias Harris, 33% shooter from the outside. Cade Cunningham, 33% shooter from the outside. Asar won't even shoot him from out there. Neither will Duran. Like, they have no choice but to play Duncan Robinson. So when he inevitably gets into foul trouble or just isn't hitting his threes, they're not winning that game. It's just over. Like, whether it's against the Celtics, the Hornets, or the Cavs, those teams are just going to make more threes than the Pistons. I'm not mad at Trajan Langdon for not putting together a better roster last offseason with shooters around Cade because, again, they're just so far ahead of schedule.
Well, and Malik Beasley just was supposed to be on this team.
Good point. I am a little bit frustrated now at the deadline. Not that they traded away Ivy because I don't think he would have helped out the Pistons at all. That they weren't a little bit more aggressive in getting Dennis Schroeder or getting Ayu Dosunmu or getting Kobe White. One of these guys that could have just taken a little bit of pressure off of Cade because he's clearly like got a tremendous amount of weight on his shoulders right now. He needed a night off on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think that one of the big things, too, which is something that tomorrow definitely going to hit on, what a shocker. The two-way guy that you gave a standard contract just can't be relied upon in a humongous role.
I mean, we sniffed this out so early.
That's a humongous shock. Dennis Jenkins, who was playing in the G League, all of a sudden can't be like a major secondary creator for this team.
Well, it's not like they overpaid him, but they did rely on him a little bit too much.
They over-rely on him. Yeah, exactly. Like, he is way too big of a role. Oh, Cade is the only guy that can create a shot. Let's take this guy out of the G League and have him be the other option.
And then turns out there wasn't really any buyout options for the Pistons this season. Like, no one got bought out that would have been a nice addition.
Is the buyout stuff over? Or are we past it?
I guess not, but like, if it hasn't happened yet, I guess they still could add somebody, but
like, no one's gonna. I mean, like,
it'd be Middleton.
Middleton's a guy where like I'm gonna be. I'll be like,
I don't
cool.
think Dallas is letting him go.
But also, like, I'm not gonna be like, bam, there's our season save now, Chris Middleton.
I also don't think Dallas is gonna part ways with him. Why would they? It's just like it helps Cooper Flag out a little bit. I know they're trying to lose.
They're trying to lose. Yeah, exactly.
I guess that might be the reason.
And maybe
why.
he wants to go play on a team that's good. He's played on the Wizards for the last couple of years.
Ugh. Yeah, man, it's panic season for and it's hard to say this about the Wings after last night too, but that negative point differential is concerning. The fact that they're outside of the top 10 in goals allowed per game is concerning. The fact that they're outside of the top 20 in goals for per game is concerning. I don't want to use the fraud word because I don't think they're frauds, the Pistons or the Wings. They've earned where they're supposed to be, but like there is a difference between a regular season team and a playoff team. And I feel like maybe both of the Detroit Winter teams that play in LCA are regular season teams. I mean, think about the label that the head coach of the Pistons has, JB Bickerstaff.
Regular season coach.
Do you know his record in playoff series for his career?
Playoff series?
Yeah. He's been in 5 of them.
Has he won one?
He's been
1
in
and
5.
4?
Yeah, 1 and 4.
Yeah.
He beat Orlando when he was in Cleveland his last year
Went
there.
to 7, by the way.
Went to 7, yeah.
Rookie year, or that was second year Paulo, yeah.
Then they lost to the Celtics the following series. They lost to the Knicks last year. He's got one series loss as a Rocket under his belt, which I just had completely erased from my memory. They got beat by Golden State. Yeah, I don't remember that either. He was interim head coach, and then he got named
I was about to say he was head coach of the Rockets?
And then he got named head coach, yeah.
I don't even remember that.
And he lost a series when he was with Cleveland to somebody else, too. I think there's a real, like, this guy can motivate his guys, build a team, build chemistry. But when it comes to the actual coaching strategic advantage in like drawing up plays and substitution stuff, I mean, there was stuff last playoffs that was like,
yeah,
why is Asar
not playing? Yeah,
the challenge stuff gets crazy. Like,
I don't think though that this is like a JB thing. I think it's just easy to point stuff out about him now that they're losing the games.
No, I agree with you. He's not really working with a whole lot of flexibility in the lineup. However,
why did
Marcus
Marcus Sasser start yesterday?
True. I was going to say it doesn't change the fact that in a playoff series against the Celtics, without a doubt, you don't have the coaching advantage. There's probably an argument to be made with the Cavs and Hornets as well that you just don't have the coaching advantage in that matchup either. Like, there is real reason to panic for the Pistons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Sasser in the starting lineup.
There's a lot of reason.
989-837-6125. Lions free agency opens up, well, not until Wednesday, but legal tampering period in about a half hour. We'll hit the news, tell you what's going on around the NFL when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Hey, as of right now, you guys maybe have some dry eyes. And if you do, I got the perfect place for you. Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic. They specialize in dry eye treatment that actually works. If your eyes burn, water, or feel tired from screens, they can help you get real lasting relief. From advanced dry eye care to exams, glasses, and contacts, they've got you covered. Stop dealing with discomfort and start seeing clearer and more comfortably again. See better, feel better with Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic next to Kroger in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on one. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. Kyle Sandel, it's your time to shine. Take it away with the news.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
Okay, it's time for the news. Another weekend full of sports, of course, so let's hop into it.
Hit us with it.
First off, let's take a look at the community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Of course, we know that March Madness is about here, and that means more than just the Division I level. The Northwood women's basketball team earns the 3 seed in the NCAA Midwest Regional. That's in the Division II landscape, of course. It's the 3rd time in program history that the Timberwolves have made the NCAA tournament. So we'll be rooting for them.
How many teams make this? The D2?
It's 64, but they split it up into 8 regions. So, like, there's the Midwest region here. So, like, Grand Valley is playing in this region. They're the 1 seed of it.
So there's 8 1 seeds?
Correct. Like, it's not split up like it's not built like the real tournament. There's 8 different 1 seeds, yes, and they're just split around.
All play each other.
They're split around the country, and then the final 8 will go to a new tournament that gets put together. So, yes.
That's fun.
I believe that's how it works. At least that's my understanding of it. So yeah, we'll be keeping up, letting you know how Northwood does in that. We already touched on the Pistons, so no need for me to include that in the news. 4 straight losses.
I got one for you, Tigers-wise. Tigers cuts today. Max Clark re-signed a minor league camp, so he will not be on the opening day roster.
I thought you were about to say Max Clark got cut from the Tigers. I'm like,
no.
What?
Hao Yuli optioned to Toledo. Tyrone Lorenzo optioned to Erie.
Okay.
So we still don't know where Max Clark will start, though, whether that's going to be in AAA or Toledo or in Erie, because he never played AAA ball, right?
No.
Yeah, I would imagine. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts in AA.
I could see it, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't be like surprised if he ended up in AAA. That's for sure. I have some other fun news for you from our favorite man, Adam Schefter. The Falcons are expected to pursue Tua Tagovailoa, who was cut this morning by the Dolphins. That was the Falcons' big plan, Ben. Tua.
He is free, which makes up for the Kirk Cousins ridiculous contract that they're paying him.
Hey,
to
lefty
not play for their
quarterbacks,
team.
man. The Falcons just can't get enough of them. The only 2 lefties in the league. Let's get them both.
Plus Vic was lefty too, right?
Yeah, correct.
Oh my God, man. I can't believe they're not all in on Kyler. That'd be so fun to get him down there with Bijan. Or imagine the option game, the RPO game with Kyler and Bijan and Drake London.
Plus, we'd get Kyler versus Bryce twice a year.
What does that have to do with anything?
They're the 2 shortest quarterbacks we've ever seen.
The little bowl?
The little tiny guys, yeah.
It wouldn't be the Super Bowl. It'd be the mini bowl. The Children's Bowl.
Correct. Okay, that might be a stretch. Okay, we'll do some more NFL news in a second, but I do want to first off go over the auto bids that we've gotten so far in the NCAA tournament, because this is my favorite time of the year. When you start to see all these random teams, they're in the tournament. I love this stuff. These 5 teams are in the tournament. North Dakota State wins the Summit League. Queens wins the Atlantic Sun for their first year that they're eligible for the tournament. And this is interesting because Queens University, I believe, is combining with Elon University. They're like merging schools.
Elon Musk has his own school.
Okay. So this might be the first and only year that they're eligible to make the tournament, and they did. So shout out to them. High Point wins the Big South for back-to-back seasons. Did you get on the High Point train last year? That was a big one that everyone loved. They ended up losing in the first round.
I think I was on that train.
The Purple Panthers. They lead the country in steals, so they are like an insanely fast-paced playing team. Northern Iowa wins the Missouri Valley. I got a fun stat for you. Okay. The Missouri Valley, in first-round tournament games since 2012, 13-4. Pretty insane for a mid-major conference.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so Northern Iowa might be a popular pick. LIU, that's Long Island University, wins the Northeast, and Tennessee State, who is led by Duke legend Nolan Smith, by the way, which is kind of funny, wins the Ohio Valley Conference. We have 2 conference championships going on today. The Sun Belt, Troy versus Georgia Southern, and Furman versus East Tennessee State for the SoCon title.
I like the way. Google this if you're a fan of college basketball. Sun Belt Conference tournament format. It's not a tournament. It's a gauntlet. It's 2 teams that get to just sit at the end in the semifinals.
Troy was one of them.
And then the rest of the conference just bloodbath. You got to win like 8 games in a row,
Which,
it looks like.
A lot of people think that's how it should go with the mid-majors, which I don't disagree with necessarily.
It's fun.
You want your best team. If you're a mid-major conference, you want your best team in the tournament. You want to be best represented to potentially get a win.
Yeah.
And so, but it's also fun because Georgia Southern, who's in the title game for the Sun Belt tonight, has won like 5 games in 5 days because they started right at the very beginning. So they have just played an insane amount of games, and they have a chance to make the tournament tonight.
Unreal.
I'll be watching this, that's for sure. We already did Max Crosby to the Ravens. Dolphins cutting to it and then going to the Falcons, man. I can't really... I'm already going right back to this, but...
Hey, this is good news for the Lions fans. It's another team that was lurking in the NFC that you can just completely forget about now. The Falcons are not going to be a threat if Tua Tagovailoa is their quarterback.
Good point. We had 2 moves go down this morning. Packers trading for Rashawn Gary, or the Packers are trading Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys, and then the Dolphins are trading Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets. Let's do this Rashawn Gary thing, though, because you and I, as soon as we saw this happened right before we started the show, figured this would be like a pretty high pick, and it's a 4th rounder.
Yeah, Dallas might be cooking here. They just swapped edge rushers and then also got Quinnen Williams and multiple first-round picks. Yeah, and Kenny Clark in the process as well. So that defensive line is suddenly like, I mean, think about how much the Lions ran all over them last year and how much every team ran all over them. Now they have Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and Rashawn Gary.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, the move clears $11 million in cap for the Packers, so this was like a cap move that they were kind of willing to do.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys basically say they have to rework his deal because he's making a little bit too much for them to actually figure out currently.
Oh, shocker. The Cowboys are in cap problems.
Right.
Shocker.
So this is, I guess this is their response to the Ravens trading for Max Crosby. We'll go get Rashawn Gary. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick is headed to the Jets, which is like...
He got a bag, too, by them.
Minkah Fitzpatrick did.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I think he got like a $40 million extension is what I saw.
Minkah Fitzpatrick getting paid in the Big 2-6. That's pretty crazy. Okay, let's take a break from NFL stuff unless you have anything you want to touch on.
No.
Let's talk about this UFC White House card event. The lineup.
So excited.
It got released this weekend. Let's discuss it. Of course, the main event, which had already been basically leaked by Dana White the second that Justin Gaethje won his fight a couple weeks back, and I believe that was the Paramount opener. Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje for the lightweight title fight. That is the main event. And then basically the co-main event is Alex Pereira going for his 3rd belt against Cyril Gane. I don't necessarily know how to say his name.
It doesn't matter. You get to watch Alex
yeah.
Pereira.
For the interim heavyweight championship.
Yep, and which is just setting up an Alex Pereira versus John Jones fight, which would be the greatest fight the UFC has ever put on. At least from a marketing standpoint. Pereira would be the...
I always thought it was never going to happen. I always just was a person that was like, why would Pereira do that? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It would make him the GOAT.
He has to go up, but exactly. If he's like hungry to do that, then...
He'd be the first person, well, even if... Well,
he has to go up in weight and then fight a guy that everyone considers the best UFC fighter ever.
But if he wins this one here and becomes the interim champ, does that technically mean he is the first UFC fighter of all time to have 3 titles,
to have 3
different
belts,
weight classes?
Yeah.
But does that count if it's just an interim title?
I think but eventually it wouldn't be the interim, right?
Well, I think he'd have to fight whoever the champ is that's just kind of away right now. I don't know. There's
Isn't it John Jones, though? Like,
no, John Jones retired. And
right, but
it was the guy with the beard who John Jones ducked for.
Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Correct. The guy who has that really weird interview clip.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. The other fights that are going to be at this White House event, Sean O'Malley versus Zahibi in a bantamweight bout. Lightweight bout between Mauricio Ruffy and Michael Chandler will be fighting, and then the other two, Bo Nickel is fighting, and then Diego Lopez is fighting in a featherweight bout. So
stacked all around.
It's a stacked lineup.
Bo Nickel rocks.
There's a figure that most I'm for sure a casual UFC fan.
Same.
There's a figure that most casual people know in all of these fights. So
Did you see the start time?
I did not.
8 p.m.
And all the fights are going to be, because usually I just kind of skip over the first like 3 or 4 fights
Can't.
on a UFC fight night for a main card. Can't for this one.
Can't.
You're right. And also, by the way, good news that we get this after that fight Saturday night. Charles Oliveira just dominates. Boring fight.
But at least Max Holloway got to do let's throw a ton of punches here in the last 10 seconds.
Right, exactly.
All right.
All right, that's it for the news.
All right, 989-837-6125. We've got 2 traditions to close out every show. Really, it's 3 at this point. I'll tell you what all those are when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Hey, just a quick heads up for all the parents of athletes out there. If you've got kids that are getting ready for spring sports or summer sports, Great Lakes Spine and Medical has you covered with sports physicals. They make the process fast, easy, and stress-free. No long waits, no bouncing all over town. Plus, you're not just checking a box. Their medical team actually looks at the overall movement and flexibility to prevent injuries to athletes all season long. Appointments are easy to schedule. Get those physicals done now and be ready for game day at Great Lakes Spine and Medical.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, we got 3 traditions to close out every show. You know, I really wish I had more Lions predictions for what they're going to do, but our top guys available that we wanted them to go get both got signed over the weekend. And it's impossible to predict who they're going to sign because we have no idea how much money we're working with here. Because we have no idea how much money they're going to free up with the Jared Goff contract. It could be $10 million. It could be $5 million. It could be $50 million. We have absolutely no idea. So it's kind of tough to make predictions. Anyway.
I know a prediction you can make.
Let's hear it.
The lock of the day.
Hit it.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
I'm going Jokic triple-double tonight. Anytime I see Jokic triple-double at plus odds, I usually just, take it. They're going up against OKC. I don't know if you remember this, but last time they went up against OKC, Lou Dort had that super dirty cheap shot on Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic almost killed someone live.
Yeah, it was really entertaining.
The death eyes.
And he put up a triple-double in that game. Last 5 games versus OKC, he's averaging 26, 12, and 8, so he's lacking in the assists or in the rebounds. I have a feeling he'll get that tonight. So I'm going in what is potentially a huge game for Denver. I'm going with him to have a triple-double.
Potentially a huge pick for lock of the day for you, too.
Why is that?
Well, last week, you did win the week. You went 3-2.
Friday did not hit.
But you're 1.6 units up. Friday did not hit, by the way.
Jason Tatum starts 0 for 7, by the way.
Yeah,
I was
didn't score until right before halftime. 1.6 units up so far in March, but this is going to be your lone pick for a while. So,
yes, it is.
This is a big one.
Yeah, I'll go Jokic triple-double. He was so pissed last time. He's going to bring it tonight. All right, that's our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
The next tradition we have. What's the best thing we got on television tonight? Hit it.
Game of the day.
I really thought about making it OKC versus Denver just because those are like kind of the two, last couple of years have been the two teams out west. The Spurs have just taken both of those teams' lunch money in terms of who the most desirable team to watch out west is. So I'll lay off with them. I'm going with the United States and Mexico tonight at 8 o'clock. Team USA, Paul Skeens on the mound. I think the World Baseball Classic has completely lived up to the expectations you and I put on it, which were pretty large, to be quite honest. I'm really excited for this tonight. So I'm going to go with this one.
Yeah, I think this is the pretty obvious pick. No honorable mention to the Sun Belt Conference Championship. I get it. It's all right. No love for the mid-majors out here. But I would probably rock with this as well. There isn't an NBA game that I'm like, oh, yeah, like I love this one over you. Like you said, the Jokic game, like that plays. But I'm obviously rocking with U.S. versus Mexico.
Okay.
This is like the one team in their pool that I think Italy's sneaky. Italy's a sneaky team. But Mexico is like the real legit team that's in their pool, has a chance to beat the U.S., so that's what'll be fun. And Skeens is pitching. I want to watch Skeens.
So do I. That is why it is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
All right, and the last thing we got to do is guess what Colin Cowherd is going to open with. Lot of options. Whose turn is it to go first?
Let me double check really quickly. It is my turn to go first. Here's my reaction to that. Score is 47-42.
Mm-hmm.
You have the lead. My turn to go first. He led with Shohei Ohtani last week. It was I picked Shohei Ohtani. It was Jason Tatum. And I feel like Jason Tatum just is the play here. I know it's pretty far removed, but like the Celtics played last night. But football's going on today, and this Tua stuff, I think, just is actually like, it's got Colin written all over it. I want to really pick the Tatum Celtics thing. Oh, man, I really want to. But with football free agency kicking off right now, it could be Cowboys because they made the trade. Oh, this is hard, actually. I'm going to go with Tua. I'm going to go Tua lead. The Falcons are going with Tua?
Give me the Raiders.
Why are you going with the Raiders?
Give me the Ravens for trading for Max Crosby.
Oh, right. No, that's probably the right one.
Yeah,
it
the
is
Ravens are
kind of
all
old
in.
news, but yes.
I don't think it is. I
Yeah,
think
it hasn't been a show since then, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is because this happened, Friday night?
It was Friday night, yeah.
Yeah. I've got him talking about the Baltimore Ravens and Max Crosby as the open. All right. My friend, I'm handing you the car keys for the rest of the week.
Yes.
Not the greatest timing to leave.
No, like some could say like it's some of the worst timing.
Yeah, with the
Some could say
tournament
that.
this week and free agency opening up. But you got to do what you got to do. So Kyle's going to be taking over the show for the next few days with what is going to be one of the crazier weeks ever here at the Mitt.
Ever. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying in general.
Just
in human
period,
history. Yeah.
With the World Baseball Classic and the Big Ten tournament
Yeah.
and free agency. No, but you've got a whole busy week because you've got all these. You've got a call high school game tonight, and then you're doing the show in the morning, and then it's just basically that on repeat for 3 more days.
Right, yeah. Ton of high school basketball this week that John will be covering as well.
You gotta make John find a different producer or bring somebody else to the game so you can have your nights to get ready for the show in the morning.
It's a busy week, man. All hands on deck.
It is all hands on deck.
2 hands, of course, not on deck. But
Yeah, no, thank you for making that abundantly clear to
good
everybody
thing
out
Central
there.
Michigan didn't miss the MAC tournament. You know, like that's the only good thing here.
That would have led to a world where here at the Mitt we were truly
In shambles.
like Pistons panic mode. Yeah, like what's going on here? But at least
Mitt panic.
You're not going to be lacking content the rest of the week,
Right,
though,
exactly.
in terms of topics to discuss. Between the Pistons and Wings kind of, well, I guess mostly just the Pistons as of right now, falling apart in front of our eyes.
Big Ten tourney starting this week, like that. There's going to be some stuff there, obviously, to go over. We're going to get the Big Ten teams that will and Player of the Year stuff. That stuff's going to come out this week.
Well, and most importantly, the Lions will
that's
at some
the big
point
thing.
make a move this week, whether that's freeing
what you
up the
think.
Jared Goff contract.
That's what they want you to think.
What if they're just
They
like,
just
we're
do
good.
nothing. We're good. Oh, there it is. We're good.
We're good. They don't even do the Jared Goff. They restructured Jared Goff to sign like $3 million worth of players. They just do all these minimums. They're like, no, don't worry. We're moneyballing this thing.
People are asking, where are you going, Ben?
Who's asking that?
The YouTube chat is asking
Who?
that. No one.
Who?
Well, Brad just says we won't let Ben off the hook for going one of the worst big cities in the States.
Okay. I'm going skiing. Going on a little skiing trip out west in Salt Lake City. That's where I am going.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited.
Go watch AJ DeBonsa.
That would be cool.
A little bit too late, obviously. The season's over.
Yeah, that would have been nice though. But their campus isn't. Utah's up in Salt Lake City. BYU's further away.
Yeah, they're Provo, I think.
Yeah.
I could
that
be
sounds
wrong.
right.
I think I might have just thrown that out there.
I think that's a couple hours away from Salt Lake City. Utah is actually downtown Salt Lake City, though. I drove by their stadium when I was there last time. Their football stadium. Kind of small. Like, way smaller than you would expect for a program that's typically
Big 12,
well-regarded.
like ranked usually.
Yeah.
Big 12 school. Kyle Whittingham.
That's right. Kyle Whittingham and his entire staff.
You should go down. Yeah, you should get like the locals' opinion on Kyle Whittingham.
That's a good idea.
And then you can come back next week and say like,
I know Lions free agency just happened.
You have your opinion. Yeah, lead Monday's show. Like, I'm actually out on Kyle Whittingham as the Michigan head coach.
There's no way the Utah fans didn't love him, right?
No, they probably like adore him. Yeah, I would assume they do. But
Yeah.
also like didn't win anything. But I mean, made that program like insanely relevant. So
They won one Pac-12 championship.
I think.
Yeah, played in the big Pac-12 championship like every
Right.
year.
And we're like one of those teams that was like they might get in the playoff. Like it was they were always a might get in the playoff team. They still are. Like currently to this day they are. But
Yeah, they were always that school that was like you couldn't beat them at home. They never lost at home. Yeah. All right. Appreciate everyone for dropping in today. Enjoy Kyle the rest of the week with a combination of John and Brad, I believe. And hopefully the Lions can get back up to the Super Bowl contention. I felt like I was a little negative today, but I like genuinely fear they are just unable to get themselves back into Super Bowl contention. We'll see what they do the rest of the week now. All right, 989-837-6125. Save the number in your phone so you can text Kyle later on in the show. This is the Ben Bosscher Show.